Hey, yo, I'm in the building. What's up? Welcome to another edition of the Brownstone Powwow. You feel what I'm saying? I'm back with a vengeance, son. Yo, it's about to be a lit ass fucking night. Big up yourself, big up yourself. First and foremost, y'all, please hit that like on the way in. Subscribe. It's gonna be a dope ass interview. I got my homeboy here. It's about to be lit. Of course, I always have my co-host, the wonderful, lovely Miss Mona, always here. You understand what I'm saying? And
Hey.
that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Brat brat. Big up yourself. You know what I'm saying? Passport bros. You know what I'm saying? Because technically I'm a passport bro, but then Miss Mona might be a passport sis. You
I
never know.
am. I'm a
Yeah,
passport
yeah,
sis. Yeah.
exactly. You know what I'm saying? So I wanna give a salute to everybody that's in my chat right now. Let me just see who's in the building before we start off. You know what I'm saying? Let's check it out, y'all. So first of all, I got the twin in the building. If you don't know already, now you know. If you don't know, now you know, nigga. But I got my boy CIP Culture Invasion Podcast in the building. Big up yourself, twin. I see you. You know what I'm saying? Garden Scientist, it's new seeing you here. Welcome. Bronze Flat Power God, peace to the fellow Bronze. You know what I'm saying? Pastor, hating ass sugar bum. Shout outs to everybody that's listening right now. So check this out, y'all. I'm about to get busy. I want to introduce to you the OG, my favorite content creator, one of the Passport Bros, the Passport Elite. This is what he told me before we started the show. My homeboy, Kings and Dreams. What's good, brother?
What is going on, man? What is going on, man? What an intro. My man said, my favorite content creator. All right, I got to step up to the plate tonight and live it up,
Hello, kings and dreams.
man. Yeah,
So don't let me down, man. Don't let me down.
right.
Welcome, passport bro. How may I help you?
What's going on, man? What's going on? Love everywhere. You know what I mean? East Coast across the pond. I'm feeling the love. I appreciate being here, and I'm just excited to have a great conversation, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. Represent for the Passport Bros out here. And you know what I thought was really important? I thought it was important to have you up tonight because you know how much the Passport Bros is coming up in the media. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just like, I need a perspective because I know in the past I've been like, I critiqued the Passport Bros so much, but I think it's because it's been so saturated with just the ideals and all this other stuff, seeing Austin Holloman and then seeing a couple of others. And I meant to tell you this. I remember seeing they was telling brothers, get your passport, But it was this one YouTube video I seen. It's because he started relating to this stuff like how he's been disappointed by his mom and then how he hates black women. And I was just like, shit, bro, that's not really a good look if you saying you a passport, bro, my man. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to bring you on here tonight, to have the interview with you, kick it with you, but also, give your testimony on what it's like being a passport bro. You know what I mean? Because I think at least we can come from a place where we're not generalizing passport bros in general, because there's a lot of benefits, especially as black men traveling around the world and seeing different places. So I definitely do think that. But hey, I'm gonna just get this started off. Mona, if you have any questions throughout the way, of course, ask them. I'm gonna just get
Okay,
into
thank
it,
you.
man.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you. But
Thank you. Yeah.
yeah, let's start off this, man. Kings and Dreams. So tell me how you started off with the whole. Before we even talk about passport bros, just you, like,
Yeah.
how did you get started off of YouTube, IG? Like, what's your whole thing? Like, just give us an introduction into like who you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So I go by the name Kings and Dreams on all platforms, even though you see YouTube and Instagram below. But Kings and Dreams on all platforms. So that's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, now Twitter. They call it X now, whatever. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm on all of these platforms, and so I just finished my second year of being a YouTube content creator.
Mm.
And so, what made me want to start my channel? Um, One of my best friends, who I went to high school with, he goes by the name the Flyboy Way, and a lot of people in the travel space know or have heard of him. And so, he's been traveling for a while, and a lot of the trips that he has documented and things of that sort. Like I've been there with him, and so what he would do is he would have like I guess you would call like a pregame before he went to a destination, and so he would talk to people who had either A traveled there or B people who were expats living in that particular country. Um, so one country in particular, this happened to be Colombia, and so I was on the panel with a couple of other content creators and some expats there. And so after that live stream, he was like, "Hey man, why don't you start your own channel?" So
Mm.
from there, I said, "Okay, you know what? I'll really check this out, really see if I can do it." And then July of 2021 is when I officially had launched Kings and Dreams.
Okay. And you know something, brother? I think we in the same like field because you know I started my page 2020, so you know around the same time. But
Mhm.
yeah, I agree, man. So I always wanted to ask you this. Shout out to Jay Fleming, I see you. I always wanted to ask you this. So
Jay
when
Fleming in the building, that's my guy right there.
salute, welcome, brother. So I always wanted to ask you this for sure, like you know, just to start off. Kings and Dreams. What made you want to come up with that name? Like I've always been, I'm a sucker for names because I know why I call myself Bronzebird. You
Yeah.
know, I know why. But so you know, what was the meaning behind Kings and Dreams? Like, why did you decide to come up with that name?
Well, it's like it's not necessarily like a fancy elaborate story, right? But so how I came up with it is so on my personal page, it's actually King James. So my first name is actually James. And
Hmm.
so um what made me come up with dreams was well, if we're traveling and we're exploring, we're really living our dreams. So I said, okay, well, let me just combine the two, Kings and Dreams. You know, instead of me calling myself King James, I just put Kings and Dreams. And that's how that came together. So I wish it was more of an elaborate story, but it was just something I was like, hey, you know what? This actually sounds pretty good. And I ran it by Flyboy. He was like, yeah, I like it. So that's what we roll with.
I do like that though, like. Because in my head, I was thinking low key, like Hebrew Israelites for a second. It was like, we are kings. We are kings. And then it with dreams. I was like, yeah. Because no lie, it's also in my whole thing that I want to travel. And, you know, it is a dream of mine. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I definitely agree with you, man. I definitely
Right.
agree. Um, but off though, this wasn't really a question that I have for you, but I wanted to know what you thought about that new J. Cole song with Bass. He had that passport, bros. You seen that?
Yes. Yeah, man. Well, one of the things that you mentioned, right, like in your opening monologue, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
where you had mentioned that the term passport bros like is grown in the media and things of that sort.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like you see the you see the J. Cole, the video, I think it was a few months last year. People know Tony Yayo from 50 Cent's group G Unit. He
Yeah.
had like a passport like chain, right? And so I think there was a couple of other rappers. What's my man from the South? Man, he was out in like Dominican Republic, Cartagena, Colombia, but like you would just start to see like a lot of guys just really just like showing videos of them traveling and whether they were on dates with different women or purchasing properties and things of that sort. And
Mm-hmm.
so this thing just kind of really blew up. And I don't want to get too long-winded because I don't know what the next question is, but
You free,
this
brother.
thing,
Whatever you want to express. Go ahead.
well, this thing had, this thing really, I would say, blew up in the media after a certain, tragic event had taken place in the manosphere, and that is the death of the late great Kevin Samuels.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I'm gonna get it because it's really crazy. You know, I told people, technically I'm retired after like a year or so from the
Mhm.
manosphere. I'm like, I'm not in the manosphere.
Yeah.
I'm not in the manosphere no more. But I always give respect to everybody that's in the manosphere. You know, shout outs to the manosphere. Respect to
Mhm.
everybody that's doing content out there.
Yeah.
But you know, I did see like how like when it came to the manosphere, it was just like they went from like talking about high value man, you know, like six figures, 6 inch, and they're all like 6 feet tall. And then they was just like, I'm a passport bro. It's like, then I asked them, I'm like, yo, did you get your passport? They was like, nah. I was like, so you're not a passport bro, yo? Like, what are you talking about? Like,
dude, man, it's here's the thing, man. Like people always want to feel a part of something, right? Like I was having a conversation with one of my moderators, and we were talking about, like, because this particular moderator, he's from the West Coast, and I'm from New York City. And so, like, we were just talking about how, like, there would be people, like, whether it be like different streets, different neighborhoods, or even like different gangs, like when the gang culture got popular, like some people would just be like, yeah, man, I'm Crip or I'm Blood, or, whatever the case is. And it's like, like they just think like it's cool. It's, long story short, is that people want to be a part of something, right? Because like people will say, like you said, people will say like, yeah, man, passport's up. And it's like, oh, do you have your passport? Oh, man, yo, I haven't even filed for my passport yet. And it's like, bro, what are you talking about? You haven't even left the country yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, you be like, yo, so you say, what countries you been to? And then they start stuttering and shit. I be like, look, listen, bro, it's no hate in the game. Like, I tell people all the time, I've been to the Caribbean islands. You know what I mean? Mexico. I've been a couple of places in my life. I inspire to go to more places, of course, right? And so it's just like, come on, man, don't fake. You stop faking jacks, man. It's the saying we say. Shout outs to the I&I crew back in '96. Stop faking jacks. You know what I mean? But it's not. And what I wanted to say is, in terms of getting a passport, I wasn't looking, because I already have I just had to renew it. But I was just like, look, I'm not looking as being a passport, bro. I'm thinking like, yo, I need the experiences, because how many times are you able to say, I've been to this place, and stuff like that, and had a wonderful experience and learned the culture? You know what I'm saying? And that's something we're going to get into tonight as well, because we got to talk about the culture too, because this is also educational. I know, and you definitely bring education on your platform when it comes to knowing that. And because this is something I've always said. I said, you can't just go to places blindly. You got to know exactly where you're going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so many people get wrapped up like, yeah, this place. I'm like, yeah, you see it looks beautiful in photos. The women might be hot, you know what I mean, and all that other stuff. But at the same time, the language, the course of actions, you can't do what you do in America, you're not going to be able to do in another country. You know what I'm saying? So that's definitely something that I be seeing. I just be like, brothers cannot be this naive. Y'all got to really do y'all research. But
agreed.
Yeah, that's something brothers got to do better, you know what I'm saying? But so
you definitely have to do your research.
Yeah, do your research, please. You know what I mean? Don't go places blindsided, and just because you blinded by women, like, you know what I'm saying, it's not worth it, because they can rob your ass too. You know what I mean?
Man, listen.
It has been so many, yo.
Stories upon stories about that. I mean, yes, as you mentioned, like you can't go to these countries green. You know what I mean? Just because, just because you see like Maricel and Mariela, she got a fat ass and big titties, and it's like, bro, like, yo, like, listen, you could get taken advantage of no matter where in the world you are. I mean, yes, like, I understand why brothers travel, because the women outside of the West are more pleasant, but there's always snakes in the grass everywhere you go. You got to make sure you keep your lawn cut.
Yeah, you do. You make sure you see those snakes for real. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, I'm going to get into my first question with you. So,
Sure.
What inspired you to become a passport bro?
Oh, that's interesting. Well, so the thing is, I have been traveling since I was 3 years old, right? And so both of my parents are from the Caribbean, the island of Jamaica. And so you go. Oh.
Mona's from Jamaica too.
I'm sorry?
Mona's from Jamaica.
Oh, really? What part?
I was born in Old Harbour Bay. Do you know it? Old Harbour Bay?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, and then I grew up in Mona High. So Mona from Mona High.
Mona, Mona High.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So my people are from Spain, Spanish Town, St. Catherine. Uh,
Ooh.
no.
I think it's St. Anne's I was born. I think
Oh,
so.
okay, okay. That's
I
the
can't
parish.
remember the parishes. Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So yes, I'm sorry. Just getting back to what I was saying. So yes, I've been traveling since I was 3 years old, and I've always been interested in traveling, learning about different cultures, just learning about different people and experiences, and of course, the older I gotten, being attracted to to women and things of that sort. But like I've always wanted to learn and travel and explore. So like this passport bro, like wave, if you will. This is something that I have been doing before. This became a thing nationally, if you will. Um, so now that I'm 38, about to be 39, so what? Like I've been traveling almost 36 years.
Mm. Damn, that's beautiful, man. Inspiration for real.
Yeah.
And with that, like, so tell me, like, what would you say was like your favorite trip so far? Like, what would you say was like your favorite place to travel to in your 36 years of traveling?
Oh, that's a good question. My let's see. I'll answer that one. But my favorite place I would say so far has been Colombia. I'll explain why, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when I first went to Colombia, this was February of 2020. This was right before the pandemic had started. Um, and so when I first went there, I went there with my person who inspired me to go to start my YouTube channel, the Flyboy Way. And so we went there for this carnival, and this carnival in Barranquilla, it's like a very big carnival. You have Colombians from all over the world that fly there, and it's a big celebration. They celebrate the culture, the life. But another thing is that I didn't realize how many black people were in Colombia. Now, in the United States, people who live in the United States will know that like the history that we get taught, especially guys who travel, will tell you like none of this shit is in the history books.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, pardon my language. I'm trying not to curse too much, but none of this stuff is in our history books. You know what I mean? Like what I found out was going to Barranquilla, there's this place called Palenque, Colombia, and this is the first territory of freed African slaves of all of the Americas, so North, Central, and South America, right?
Mm-hmm.
None of us were taught this. And I mean, people that are like, as dark as me, you know, um, people who you would think that maybe, live in New York or wherever, wherever somebody lives, you know what I mean? They just speak Spanish. Um, I would say that was probably my most eye-opening, um, humbling, and also intriguing experience with traveling because I had learned so much, not knowing that the first territory of slaves was actually basically a plane ride away, and how slave ships will come into these ports like Cartagena, Colombia. You know, they would come into these ports, and people who were raised in the United States, maybe even in the West. I'm not sure how it is in the UK, Miss Mona, but in the United States, we don't get taught any of this.
Yeah.
So, to find out when, um, I'm over a quarter century old, you know what I mean? So I was, so 2000, so I'll be 39. So I was what, 35? Yeah.
Yeah.
So just to find that
Okay.
out, you know what I mean? Just to find that out. I'm well into my 30s, not knowing, these things. So I say all that to say, like, yeah, guys, travel for the ladies and whatever, explore, but like there's a lot of history that you can't get from a textbook
But
or things
Kingston,
that.
I'm
I'm
sorry,
sorry, go ahead.
Kingston James. No, I just wanted to know. So, everyone who dates outside of America, are they considered passport bros? Black men, that is. Because I noticed that white men don't get classified as that. But
That's
as
true.
soon as a black man dates outside of America, he's a passport bro. So, is everyone in that category because they date outside of American?
Um, well, I mean, I guess society would say that because right now it's the popular, it's the popular thing. You know what I mean? So when everything is like when something is popular or whatever, it's a popular phrase, popular term, you know, and you're dating someone abroad, you're going to be considered a passport bro by some people. I wouldn't consider that a passport bro, or
Okay.
you know what I mean.
So,
I wouldn't consider
what's
that.
the difference between a passport bro and someone, or passport sis, and someone who's dating someone because they just like them and they just happen to be in another country? What's the difference between them?
Um, well, typically, what I would say is usually a passport bro is usually traveling to multiple countries and um, maybe dating maybe dating that one woman, or they could be dating multiple women. You know what I mean? So what I would say is that like in my point of view, to each their own.
Mm,
But again, like here's the thing, like passport bros, the term is the flavor of the month, if you will. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So like, oh, you're dating someone from Australia, you're dating someone from Cameroon, you're dating someone from Jamaica, you're dating someone from Brazil. Oh, you a passport bro, you a passport sis. Like, like that word gets thrown around so loosely because it's so popular.
okay,
Yeah,
so
that's true.
you don't think there is a difference between someone who's a passport bro and someone who's dating outside of America because they want to, because they made a connection with someone outside. You don't, there's no difference, you don't think?
No, I mean, I don't really think it's a big difference, but I mean, I guess because now, like, because more and more men are starting to find women outside of the United States. So the the critics, will say, "Oh, you're a passport bro or passport sis," something like that. You know what I mean? It's just like okay, like it's just like a popular term that's supposed to be like derogatory towards women. Like if a woman says, "Oh, I want to be submissive to my man," and they say, "Oh, you a pick me," you know what I mean?
Right,
So like that's a popular term
right.
derogatory for quote unquote derogatory for a woman, because I
No,
don't think that's derogatory at all. Like,
no, not at all. It's like a woman choosing to be submissive to a male. I don't think that's derogatory because I usually date submissive men. What are they? Pick me men? I mean, it's like
whoa, wait, what's going
Pick
on
men.
here?
I
Pick
usually
me
date
men.
submissive men, like men who are in the terms of BDSM, men who are completely submissive to me and do what I want. It's a form of slavery in that way. But I never hear them get called pick me's.
Oh,
So
They
okay,
get called that they would usually be called betas. It's terms
yeah,
as
betas.
that.
yeah,
Oh right,
Yeah,
of
betas. They
course.
wouldn't be called. It'd be weird if you say a pick man. A pick
yeah,
man.
yeah.
I don't
Well,
think they do
no, I'm
that.
just wondering what are they called? Okay, so I just find it really sad how a woman who knows what she wants or has a certain type is a pick me or something.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
I've been classed as pick me. I get classed at when I go over to the I don't know what sector to call it, but when I go over to certain sectors, I get called pick me often because I don't hate on men. I don't hate on men.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's sisterhood BS,
Yeah,
bullshit like that.
apparently I'm going against the sisterhood. Yeah,
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 they come at you with pitchforks and all that. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
that's
You see
bad.
it all the time. But
right.
this is interesting. Like, why? But so all right. So I do find that interesting, Kings and
Hmm.
Dreams. So I think because this is what fascinated me when you said what you said, especially when you went to Colombia.
Mhm.
Now, with that being said, when you was out there and you had learned the history of that, like with the people that was in Colombia, especially finding out that there was more black people in Colombia, did you feel like there was like an instant connection with them? And especially because you learned the language when you was out in Colombia, was it easy to get
Well,
along?
before that, but yes,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So
Because you know
yeah,
how it is, like,
yeah.
you have certain black people in different countries. I'm not saying that, black people wouldn't want to get along with other black people, but, cultural differences. Oh, they notice you're an American. There still might be biases.
No,
So, yeah.
no. They embrace us. They show us love. So the thing is, what I would say is like for the people who don't travel, or some of the critics, like, where they say like, oh, why do you have to go somewhere to find a woman? Like, you can't find a woman here. I mean, listen, find a woman wherever your heart desires. But the thing is that what a lot of people don't know is Colombia is mainly a black country. Also, I'll talk about the country of Brazil. What people don't realize is Brazil is, I want to say, maybe even one half to one third of the whole United States. And Brazil is predominantly a black country. So outside of the continent of Africa, um, the the second most place where they have black people is the country of Brazil. So the thing is that, like, I'm saying all of this to say, like, you know, you see on YouTube or whatever stuff, TikTok, blah 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 blah. You may see the woman and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, that's a byproduct. But the thing is, like, for someone like who's been traveling for so long, like, that's why when people try to come at me like with nonsense, like, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm speaking about. You know what I mean? You know? Yeah, shout out to my brother, Black Man Travels, man. Salute to you, brother. Yes, man. Cuba as well. Thank you, man. I'm glad you pulled up that comment because
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not looking in the chat. I'm so hyper focused on what I'm saying, but
I know. I'm,
but it ties into it. But he's right because he and I were just in Cuba together, 2 weeks ago, and Cuba is predominantly black.
right.
So yeah, a lot of people don't know these things, and they don't like, and they don't do their research, and part of it is that I understand because the ignorance is that we haven't been taught, but another part of that is what I like try to push back on people is like, don't try to deter someone from actually traveling and actually trying to explore. Oh, why are you going over there? Like, you can't, like, you can't find someone over here. You a clown or whatever. But if you think about it, you're actually the clown because here's a stat what a lot of people may get shocked at, right? So, did you know that over 70% of people in the United States only move maybe about 250 miles from where they're born?
I heard
So
that.
yeah,
I
so
heard
we're
that.
talking maybe 4, maybe 5 hours, right? And that's in one country. And there's almost 200 countries in the world. And yeah, let's say like there's some countries people may never go to, right? So let's just knock it down to, okay, maybe like 180 countries or something like that. But that's still, so who's the idiot? The person that's actually traveling and exploring the world, or someone who's only, moving, up to 4 hours from where they were born?
And that's a big difference. Well, my only critique that I've always said about
Mhm.
Passport Bros, I have no problem with. I love. All right, first of all, I'm always gonna love the fact that black men are taking their time to actually want to get their passports and actually travel out to different places. I love it. I've watched YouTube videos of seeing a lot of brothers that was like, yo, I went to Dubai, or I went to Africa, I've been to Tanzania, I've been to South Africa, I've been to Nigeria, I've been to this, I've been to there. I've always been an advocate of brothers traveling to different places. I mean, even telling me stories about Europe, different places in Europe, or
Yeah.
going to Thailand. And, I've always been an advocate for that. I said my only pushback, honestly, and I think you heard me say this before. I said my only pushback is never try to relate your experiences as being a passport bro primarily and only about women. I get it. We all want you and date who we want. I never tell brothers like you shouldn't find who you want in other countries. I mean, love can happen anywhere. I mean, just like we have, I love seeing that show, 90 Day Fiance, and seeing things like the little short little gnome that no neck, and he's sitting up there finding love in some Asian country. I would never shit on a brother or any man, finding love or trying to look for something. But I always say, like, don't just go for the women, just go for the experiences, go for, conducting business or learning the culture and all this other stuff. That's what I always say. And I just don't want brothers to think that because you become a passport bro, that number one, you have to shit on the women back home. And number two, you're going there, you using your passport to basically just be like, I got a chick over here, I got a chick over here. It's just like, I would say that's not what I would think the passport bro stands for. I would think passport stands for brothers coming together, being able to have the money to travel, because again, a lot of times different countries, it ain't cheap to travel. It's not like you live in states and you can just easily get an airplane ticket and travel to a state the next day. It's not the same. So I've always said that. Yeah.
No, that's true. That's true. No, to your last point, it's another stat is that some countries are actually cheaper to travel to than some states are. So it may be more expensive to travel to some places in the United States as opposed to traveling abroad.
Nice.
But that's so that was, I just wanted to comment on the last thing that you had said. But no, it's very true. Going back to what you say, like some guys primarily just focus on a woman. And hey, listen, like if you're young, you're single, you have no responsibilities, go out and explore, have fun, But what I would say is that, like, have fun, but also come away with some clarity that you actually did learn something, outside of just having, your recreational use. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So yeah, like I mentioned, with the Palenque and learning how the slave ships went to Cartagena. I mean, these were things that I never learned before. You know what I mean? Now that's not to say like when I was in come on, man, like Colombia is one of my favorite countries. Of course, I have fun out there. You know what I mean? But I'm a man. But the thing is that I also learn about the culture. We Black Men's Travels, we just came back from Cuba. There's a lot of things to learn about the country of Cuba. And man, I had a lot of fun in Cuba. Trust me, I had a lot of fun. But I learned a lot as well. So you can, you could do a multifaceted of things. You know what I mean? Like you don't just have to just get with the woman and things of that sort. Learn the culture, and if you're able to get some business there, man. Or network. That's one of the things. Like every country that I've been to, I know locals, and anytime when I go back, like I'm actually going to be going back to Cuba in December. Like I got a lot of locals that I'm going to be linking up with because I want to see a lot more of what like the locals do, and we got to see some stuff, you know what I mean. But I had lost my phone over there, and that's a whole nother story. Check that out on my channel. But back to what I was saying, going back to learning and actually engaging with the locals, you learn a lot more, right? So I think that's very important.
I think that's also very important too. I'm not trying to relate my experiences, but I felt like it was on my mind when we was talking earlier. When we was talking earlier about like seeing like black people in different countries or noticing in different things. Now, for everybody who knows from Bronzeberg's page, I'm a proud New Yorker. Love being from New York. And
Mhm.
one of the many experiences, even though, we have a city that's, probably like 40 kilometers or whatever it is, big or small, I've always enjoyed knowing the fact that you have different nationalities that would be like black. Like I never like I think when I became a little bit older, I found out Panamanians can
Yeah,
look just like me. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
know black Cubans. I've seen Puerto Ricans. That's my skin color, right? I'm always been used to my Jamaican brothers and sisters. I'm not Caribbean, but like I've always considered like my Caribbeans, like the Caribbeans, like family, because I grew up with them. I literally grew up with them when I was a kid.
yeah.
Shout outs to Wakefield, Williamsbridge, Bronx. You know what I'm saying? Off that 2 train. You know what I'm
You know
saying?
what? Shout
You know
out
what
to
I
the
mean?
BX. Shout out to the
Shout out to
BX.
BX, Gun Hill and up. You feel me? So
Facts. Brooklyn in the building though. Flatbush Shack.
Brooklyn, Flatbush. You know what I'm saying? Like word Canarsie. You know what I mean?
Q
I know the
train.
big deal.
Q train right there.
All that Church Ave. You know what I mean? So
Right there at the corner,
you
man.
already know, man. You already know. So I mean, in that experience, when I had got to know like different, black people, Panamanians, seeing like met someone who's Brazilian or knowing people from South America. One of my homies is Nicaraguan, and I was just like, okay, yeah. I mean, well, he's light skinned or whatever and stuff like that. He actually truly looks like a Latino, but in that experience, I'm just bringing that to the eye because it really reminded me of what you were saying that not a lot of people. If you don't live in a multicultural city, you don't get the pleasure of seeing different nationalities of people, like knowing that I like, for instance, just off topic real quick, just like when like people come at me about certain things, they be like, well, y'all have Dominicans and Puerto Ricans that say the word nigga and they act just like you, and it's like, to us it's just like, well, yo, we used to that. Like Dominicans and Puerto Ricans is like our homies, so it's like we don't really have no type of like vitriol towards them. Now they can say some ignorant shit, of course, but but basically the point, like, just like when it comes to traveling, going to different places, it reminded me of being in New York, because different neighborhoods you go to, you can share that experience too. And you would think to yourself, they'd be like, oh, yo, you Caribbean and da-da-da. And I tell them, I'm like, nah, I would be labeled as an African American. And then come to find out, my homie is like fucking Panamanian, or he's Belizean or something like that. We never know. But when you go out to those places, or what I've seen, it made me want to travel more, not only because I'm looking at the experiences, but because I definitely want to enjoy seeing people who might look like me. We may share a similar lineage, we may not. You know what I mean? Like, I'm fourth generation. I'm probably third, fourth generation Great Migrationer. So, I'm used to my family being from the South. You know what I'm saying? But all in all, like, the whole travel business, definitely down for it. And I definitely say the important things that I've always wanted to know in my book, and I would love to do photojournalism on it. Just looking at the different wonderful melanin connections that I've seen, being in New York, but actually going to their hometown and seeing what it's like. You know what I mean? And I gotta say this one thing, because Kings and Dreams, you Jamaican, and I just want to say, when I went out to Jamaica, that goddamn food makes a motherfucking difference. Okay, like I had they chicken. I had they food out there. Shout outs to Caribbean spices, whatever the hell y'all use, cause it tastes way different than how it tastes in America. No lie. It's like they cook with love. You know what I'm saying? So I was just sitting there like, shit is lit. Like, it's lit.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. No, it's definitely it's definitely a vibe, man. But so people were saying, oh, you got Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, saying the M word. So like, what people got to remember is that Puerto Rican and Dominican, those are cultures. Those are not a race. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like, you have Black Puerto Ricans, you also have Black Dominicans. I don't want to take away from the show, because that's like a completely different topic. But people do need to realize like that. Those are not races; those are cultures.
Right.
There's a difference between cultures and races. And the thing is that, like, especially like Black people, like we definitely need to do our research. You know what I mean? Like, because these things are things that like we should know, and people get offended, and it's like, come on, man. Like you mentioned with the whole Panamanian, the Panamanian brother, you didn't
Yeah.
realize, like he said, like he was like your complexion. Yeah, you have people from all over, man, that are our complexion. Like in Colombia, man, there's a lot of dark skinned Colombians, man. Seriously, like you go to especially like around like the coast of Colombia, and also like Cartagena, Barranquilla, Cali, Colombia.
Hmm.
A lot of dark skin, man. Like Cali, Colombia is basically kind of like the Latin ATL. Seriously,
Okay.
yeah, seriously, man. Like if brothers, if single brothers, if you haven't been out there, trust me, go out there, man. You know what I mean?
You'll
Because
enjoy it. You'll
yeah,
enjoy it.
trust me. Trust me, man, because you'll definitely get the right sugars. No bums out there.
Facts. Okay, word, word.
Yeah,
So, all right. So, there's one question I know I have in the back of my head, but I'm gonna save it after this question, right?
yeah, no doubt.
So, one thing that I wanted to know, go into talking about being a passport bro, your endeavors of being a passport bro, because you said you started your page in 2021.
Absolutely.
So, um, so you wasn't here for the start of Passport Bros, were you?
Like, what do you mean by the start? Like
Like
when it started to get popular?
like cause okay, I'll name names because he's a cool dude, and we had a discussion before.
Mhm.
For instance, this dude named the Andrew Show.
Oh yeah, that's my dude.
Yeah, that's the homie, and I remember just from New York, just like
Yeah, he's
both of
from New
us.
York.
Yeah,
Yep.
he said he's from the Bronx, so shout outs to the Bronx.
Yep.
Bronx is my old stopping grounds, but he had talked about his experience as being a passport bro, and basically it was kind of like a movement. They started up around like 2011. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? So you started your YouTube page in 2021, but of course you've already been traveling for the last 36 years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So was it like you already had your group of friends that you guys collectively was just like, yo, we gonna go out, we gonna do our thing, we gonna travel here, we gonna put our money together and da da da. Like, did you have that in the beginning when you started traveling, and specifically traveling on your own?
That's a good question. So I would say mainly. So I would say like it was mainly my friends and relatives. Like Flyboy Way, as I mentioned, I was always traveling with him. What I will say is the fact that now I'm a content creator. Like there's a lot more brothers that I've connected with. Like Black Man Travels. Probably, I mean, I would have connected with him probably somewhere down the line, but had I had not been a content creator, I mean, there's a lot of brothers that I've connected with. I mean, shoot, even you,
Mm-hmm.
even CIP Culture Invasion. One of my moderators, he was in actually. Well, I'm sorry, CIP's my moderator too, my main moderator actually, but Garnet Scientist, you know, travels as well. So there might be a couple of other people I might have missed. Oh, Speak Spanish Now. You know what I mean? That's my dude.
Yeah, I seen him around
So
before. Yeah.
yeah, so like I would say that it's grown. You know what I mean? It's grown, but yes, I did have a nucleus of people that I did travel with, but it was mainly like Flyboy, a couple of friends who I grown up with, and then some of my family members. But like now, I say, hey, you know what? I'm planning on going such and such place at such and such time, and somebody be like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna be there around there the same time. Oh, okay, cool, man. Let's link up when we out there. You know what I mean? So now instead of it being maybe like two or three people going, and yeah, I still may have my pocket of like the two or three people we may have a Airbnb or whatever the case is. But now, like when we're all hanging out during the day, doing trips or whatever, if we end up like going to a bar or club, now instead of it being like two or three of us, now it's like eight, nine of us. You know what I mean?
It's a squad.
Yeah, it's a squad, and you know, and we, you know, we're level-headed guys, so we don't be doing, you know, we don't be doing the bum stuff. You know what I mean?
And you know what though? You know, honestly, I'm glad you saying that because it really is like a dream to me.
Hmm.
It's just yo, I'm gonna be honest with you, Kings. Like I be wanting to, in my head, I be like, yo, if my homies come through, yo, it'd be great. He'd be like, yo, nah, son, because it's just like be working like 60, 70 hours a week. I'm like, bro, you have enough time to save money, fam.
Yeah,
Like, I don't want to hear this shit about how you like, yo, but I want to go here. I want to go here. It's like, I do too, bro. Like, let's put the
yeah,
money together and make shit happen. You know what I'm saying? Let's share these memories. Like, you know, I'm like, it's cool. What the fucking stride we had. We, you know, shout out to my homie because we did go to California together. But like other homies, they're not really that open to it. You know what I mean? And then for me, it's just like, you know, it's not enough for me to be like, oh, I went to another borough today. I'm like, I'm so used to this shit. Like, it's
right.
whatever. I got on the fucking A train yesterday and then fucking took my ass to Staten Island. Like, this is nothing to me. You know what I mean? And even
Yeah, yeah,
people think that shit is wild. They be like, yo, Bronzebird, like, why? What the hell you doing in Staten Island? You know they racist because of Italians, and they be like, nah, motherfucker. It's called traveling and just seeing things for itself. I know to protect myself, obviously, but enough with the New York talk. It's just the example I'm getting. It's just like I don't think that people should be deterred because of employment or because of these different things. Give yourself that leverage and give yourself that recreational time to be like, yo, like I'm about to go to Paris or I'm about to go here, I'm about to go here. You know what I'm saying? And because you never know, just like interacting on YouTube, like, you know, especially the different things made me want to travel more, you know, like, you know, talk to my homie CIP. I think I've been to St. Lucia before, but I'm like, I will go to St. Lucia again. Talking to Mona, of course, I'm gonna go out to the UK, and then all these other places that I had discussions about. I mean, even talking about Hawaii, unfortunately, because of the, even though it's a state, but even talking about that as terms as like, you know, RIP about the wildfire thing, but even still going
Yeah,
out
yeah,
there,
rough, yeah.
and it was really raw out there, but just that how beautiful things is out there, you know what I mean? And I've been to Mexico, like I said before, and you know, what is that? I forgot the little liquors that they had. I forgot what it was, but I remember having one of those. Like, that shit hit the spot, man. You know, or when I went to the Caribbean islands, I forgot which island that I was, but I went out there and I remember getting rum cake. That rum cake has set your soul on fire. You know what I'm saying? Get that
Hmm.
rum cake while you out there, cause that shit be hitting the spot. You know what
Or
I mean?
facts.
It do. Um, but yeah, like I think yeah, I just wanted to say that, but I think I wanna dive deeper into this conversation with you,
Sure.
as being someone who's a passport bro. You know, really going down into this and trying to get your perspective, like, you know, the perceptions of being a passport bro, or you know, besides traveling. Um, how do you feel about passport bros pretty much being related to red pill or the manosphere, or like what, how do you feel about that? Like the perceptions has been like as it was. I, you know, it's really funny, I didn't expect, I thought passport bros was gonna strictly be YouTube, but you know, I had seen like on Instagram somebody talking about it. This like one of my favorite Instagram, you know, personalities, personas, like, you know, faceless guy, and you know, he's talking about men and this and the third, but he had talked about passport bros too, and so I'm like, damn, this dude is watching YouTube like I'm watching YouTube. Amazing.
Hmm.
But what do you think about passport bros being related to red pill or the manosphere? What do you think about that?
Well, I think, and this is my opinion, right? So what I think you know, my opinion is that anything that is related to men centric, men bettering themselves, whether it be mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, I think that is all a part of the manosphere, right? And like I see channels that talk about financial literacy, right? Like most, like what's you know, what's kind of I guess on the docket, you know, what's been happening within like the past week or so. Fresh and Fit, they got their channel, YouTube
Snip.
channel taken down. Oh, not taken down. Sorry, YouTube
Well,
channel.
demonetized.
Yeah, demonetized. Sorry about
Hmm.
that. Yeah, from the YouTube Partner Program. right? And yeah, the late night show, whatever, regardless of anyone's opinion, I'm talking about what they would talk about, like in reference to financial literacy, the shows that they would have during the day, the shows where a lot of people weren't really watching, and you didn't really see like troll comments, and they were talking about men really understanding financial literacy. And so I think those things are important. I think that encouraging men to travel and really learn about how to start a business abroad or working abroad, I think that that's a part of that too. And then, of course, the hot topics are going to be interrelationships dynamics, right? You know what I mean? So when it comes to that, whether someone wants to believe it's, red pill or black pill or whatever the case is, I think that all of that is a part of the manosphere. It's one, it's one big, it's like one big, it's like one big world, so to speak, but there's different like levels and tiers, right? Like, okay, like for the passport bros, like you have your, like when I hear the term passport bro, just in general, like I think of like someone who got their passport maybe within like the past like 5 years, and started traveling and exploring his options, whether that's romantically, business wise, learning about different cultures and so to speak, right? Then you have like Blue Book Gentlemen. Blue Book Gentlemen, I would say those guys, um, probably, probably have a lot of contacts abroad, maybe have even lived abroad. And then you have like Passport Elite, which I would call myself Passport Elite, is someone who's traveled to multiple different countries, who has multiple different connections, and who has either a business or multiple businesses abroad. So that's what I would, call it, because it's all different tiers, right? Like, let's say for an example, like we have, hip hop music, we have like conscious rap, like the rapper Common. People talk about that, and even Kendrick Lamar, he would have some of his, some of his music would be kind of like conscious rap. Then you got like drill rap, like the baby, little baby. There's so many littles, so crazy. But anyway, I digress. But what I'm saying is, like, you got the drill rap, and then you got the trap rap. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of like it's just kind of like with R&B, like before it, like before neo soul was neo soul, like it, neo soul is really, I mean, now it's, I guess, its own genre, but really it's a part of R&B. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean?
Yeah.
So there's different like levels and tiers and things of that sort. So I think that what gets misconstrued there is that people people kind of look at things in a simple vacuum, and they try to look at things to, really try to like just critique and have an opinion, but not really looking to, okay, understand why and what's going on. Kind of peel the onion and really look beneath the surface. And I think that what's happening nowadays, and I don't want to, and maybe I'm going too deep here, but the thing is that people are, a lot of people are surface level people, and they just kind of just want to, um, they kind of just want to look for the bullshit, but not
Mm-hmm.
really understanding why the bullshit is happening.
So they like picking and choosing, almost like, oh, I knew Passport Bros was like this, kind of, it's like
Right,
confirmation bias.
right.
Like, basically, now I, since you said that, now I definitely know Passport Bros is like this, yeah, it's wild, and the one thing that I tried to always be was balanced.
Hmm.
Like I told people, like even my homie that watches my YouTube channel, he was like, "Yo, Bronzebird, yo, I see you out there. You want to get your pass? You want to be a passport bro?" And I had to tell my homie, I was like, "Yo, bro, I'm not a passport bro. Like, yeah, I want to travel. I want to go to these different places, but I'm not. I would never call myself a passport bro for that because of what you think. Like, oh, it's this, that, and the third. It's just like, hey, I want to travel, and yeah, I would definitely be inspired to make businesses and have businesses out there. Absolutely, especially in a time like this. You know,
Yeah.
um, even one of the things that I even saw that was like phenomenal. Me and my homie was having a chat, and he's like, "Yo, I'm gonna have the Airbnbs here and here." And I even seen like on Instagram again, like different countries will pay you to live, to live out there on their lands. You know what I mean? So it's like, well, hey, make a flip, see what you can do. But going to this, I know I've wanted to touch on this a long time. I tried to have this conversation with Andrew. And Andrew was kind of like telling me, "Yo, look, listen, it is what it is. It's like I can't control that and this, that, and third," which is a fair answer. I would never say that, I'm just like, well, why would you answer it like that? Like, I would understand. But one of the things that I want to know from you, being a passport bro, I know that you
Passport
see
elite.
passport elite. Excuse me. You want to top? You're like it's like executive branch when it comes to passport bros. When it comes to you, like executive branch. So I want to know. I don't know if you have dudes like this, and you probably don't. But the passport bro movement, what it stands for, who represents it. What do you think about the guys that affiliate themselves with passport bros, the ones that get generalized about being well, this is what passport, because it's all about tricking, or it's all about this, that, and the third. I wanted to know that from a passport bro, because the problem is that I would see is that you have dudes that say, "Oh, I'm a passport bro because I can't stand American women," or Western women are Finnish and blah 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 and this, that, and the third. And I'd be sitting back and I'd be like, well, I mean, if you go to a different country, it don't change shit. It actually could be worse because the customs is different than how it is when it comes to American women, or let's say UK women, or Canadian women, or this, that, and the third. Like, because again, now you're having a country or a place where men is just like, yo, we don't really like you because you're from this, that, and the third country, and you're sitting up there trying to talk to our women. And it's like I told you, I don't know if I told you the story. I've said it on a panel before. I had seen this content creator that decided to say he wants to become a passport bro about in his 50s. And Kings of Dreams, when I told you that video was fucking wild, that video was fucking wild. And it wasn't like he was doing anything. Like, basically the story was, he had basically PTSD from American black women through his mom, right? He wanted to study something, or he was talking about some book he was reading, and basically he got embarrassed in front of company with his mom's there. His mom's embarrassed him. And so he went through this whole entire diatribe, and then basically he was like, "Oh, I got my passport, bro. I got my passport. Fuck these American women." And then it had showed, I don't know why the fuck YouTube did. Maybe they deleted it, they didn't. He showed a gun on that video. And he was like, "Yo, if anybody try me, see what happens next. I got my passport and ain't not a goddamn thing you could do about it." And I was just like, damn, that shit is a little bit wild, bro. That's a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, goddamn, you really getting a passport for that? So basically what I'm asking you is, like, I'm not saying it's that extreme, like a guy sitting up there like that. But what do you think about those type of dudes being the general consensus of passport bros? Do you think it's fair? Does it not matter to you? Like, what do you think about that? Or any dude that tries to approach you and say, "Oh, American women is Finnish, I can't stand it. Fuck American women in this culture, this, that, and the third." Like, what do you think about that as terms as being a passport bro, and seeing that, and they list themselves as passport bros?
Right. Well, I think there's a couple of questions. So I have a couple of statements, to respond to. So what I would say is this. I would say that, like, for the gentleman who brandished a weapon, saying that he has a passport, and I don't know if he was trying to be funny, but even if he was trying to be funny, I think that, like, you have to be very cognizant of what you put online, especially when it comes to violence and things of that sort, because you never really know who's watching. Also, passport is okay. Having a passport and traveling is a form of therapy, but if you as a man have not gone through therapy and you have had some We've had some psychological abuse and things of that sort. You need to figure that out before you travel abroad, because here's the one thing that you will always bring with you abroad, no matter what, and that's yourself. So if you have problems in the States, whether it be with women, whether you're bad financially, whether you're a guy that's into, hardcore drugs or whatever the case is, that's gonna follow you no matter where you go, right? And one of the things is, I would like one of someone I know, and she would move every 3 or 4 years or whatever the case is. So she's like, oh, these problems, I'm just gonna move to, this place, that place, or whatever. Hey, okay, whatever. And so what happens is, for the first 5 or 6 months, everything is great. Next thing you know, by the 10th or 11th month, she's talking about how she has problems and things of that sort, right? By the time she's at her fourth state, um, you know, like I just said to her, I'm like, hey, listen, have you thought about going to therapy? Oh, I don't need no therapy, blah blah blah. But it's like, listen, you've moved to 4 different states in 4 different years. Don't you think, like, the problem may be you?
Right.
So what I'm saying is that, like, yes, I encourage brothers to take, to get their passports and things of that sort. But if you do have problems, you need to make sure that you fix yourself before you start traveling and going abroad, because your problems will find you no matter where in the world you go. That's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is that with the, as I mentioned, right, with the term passport bros, like, pretty much anyone can say it. You know what I mean? Like, there could be someone in the chat now or someone that may watch this and say, hey, man, I like what these guys are talking about. I'm a passport bro. And basically living vicariously through our conversation, or maybe watching, our videos and things of that sort, but has no intention of leaving the United States, but will say passport bros. As I mentioned, passport bro, the term, the word, is the flavor of the month, if so to speak. You know what I mean? So
Right.
people are
Right.
going to say that. Then you also have, do have some people, and I would say, like, this is one of the pushbacks that I know some people. I believe Black Man Travels is still in this chat, but you know, the pushback, even from the travel community, when it comes to some passport bros, is like, you put out content that does not does not put men in a good light. Like, if you're only showing red light videos at red light district areas, you know, like, that's like, oh, well, all of these guys are just going abroad, just, basically just spending their money on, on hookers, and that's that. You know what I mean? So, like, there's that factor. And I understand why people want to be disassociated from that, because, like, they're like, man, listen, that's not what I do. So the only thing that I could say, especially for content creators like such as myself, is just to have these conversations and continue to put out, content that's actually showing what's real. Yeah, gonna show some ladies, but also be tasteful about it, and then also show culture, because, like, here's the thing, like, for me personally, like, I've been throwing events since I was 14 years old, and I've managed one of the biggest nightclubs in New York City. Anyone from New York City, Webster Hall. I'm sure you've heard of Webster Hall.
You
Like,
manage Webster Hall.
I have, I
You
have managed
have.
Webster Hall.
God damn, you took me. Oh my god. You took me way back.
Yes,
What?
bro. So,
Woo.
yeah. So, like, and then Flyboy and I, we went to high school together. We were throwing events, and it wasn't like we were throwing, like, little parties where, you get 50 or 60 high school kids. Like, our first party, we had over a thousand kids from different high schools. You know what I mean? So like
Mm-hmm.
basically, long story short, being able to be around women, obtaining women, having conversations with women, that's never been an issue with me. You know, regardless, stateside, abroad. You know what I mean? So like, sure, the I understand what guys are saying. Like, you know, women in the West, they're hard to deal with because there is definitely that entitlement, right? There's that entitlement right there. There's that lack of letting of wanting the man to lead. They think that like coming in with that masculine energy, and they think that the sugar is sweet, but they end up having a bum mentality,
Right.
so that's that. You know what I mean? And when you have like when you have people who want to travel abroad and do it for the right reasons, those are the content creators that seem to really or hardly get a shout out. You hear about the bad ones and things like that, because I mentioned, people always want to look, people don't really want to peel the onion back.
And I look, I agree with you 100%. It's just like I was saying before. I think we both agree that when it comes to something like that, you shouldn't. How do I say it? Like, you shouldn't be taking time to use a movement or use, other people that might be affiliated with a movement or particular group because of something you're personally going, like, you personally got going on. That's you and your issue, right? Um, and I've always said that about dudes that might want to call themselves passport bros. I said, hey, look, listen, I ain't got no problem with you, finding a solution to whatever it is that, is going on. You might see clear, but, make sure that, you're not becoming infatuated with it, pretty much, in my opinion. Just know how to move accordingly because it's more than what you think. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you have the money for the plane tickets and, you might be able to do this, that, and the third, but always remember that, you know, let's really be honest, as black men as well, you know, just because you go to a certain country doesn't mean it's all good in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Like, certain people is going to be racist towards you. Certain things is going to happen. And, certain things is going to be different than what it appears. Like, you're not dealing with the same culture in America. You can't have the technical, like, arrogant, viewpoint on things. You got to be very
Right.
aware of what you're getting yourself into. But this is a rhetorical question. This is just a yes
Ah,
or
sure,
no
no worries, man.
answer.
Mm.
And I know you already know. I already know. I feel like I already know what your answer is. I just want to say it because this is on the minds
Sure.
of viewers and even,
Mhm.
guys that I talk to, like my homies that watch my YouTube channel in real life. To clarify, is Passport Bros all about women?
No.
Okay.
So for the guys, okay, here's the thing. For the guys who have been traveling abroad, especially for a while, I would say most of them. Now, here's another thing, right? So, like in these groups, whether it be like on Facebook or even Instagram, WhatsApp, Discords, most of the brothers in the groups are not content creators. These brothers travel. These brothers have no problem getting a woman anywhere in the world, things of that sort, right? What people see, whether it be on TikTok, let's just say social media, what they see on social media is probably like maybe 5% of like the passport bros, and in that 5%, again, they're looking for the guys that are showing the red light districts and all this stuff. Hey, look at this guy, man, this guy can't get any girls, this guy is always in the red light districts, this guy is always talking to the hookers and blah blah blah, right? So mainly, like, there's so many guys that have businesses abroad. Like, I'm in different groups, and we like, one of the places that we're looking at getting a property in is Panama, right? You mentioned your guy who's Panamanian, you know what I mean? So we're looking at getting places out there. I don't want to speak too much about it, but Like that's what we're doing, man. Other people have places that they're going to be getting in Brazil, the continent of Africa, um, and I'll even mention that. I guess I'll save that, for later. What I had told you offline about, the continent of Africa, but places in Africa, people are going to be getting places there. Also in Europe, like I know some people that are in Germany. Brothers down in Germany, they were in the military, and they have places over there. So I mean, yes, like the women are a byproduct, but like for the guys who are really on their grind, is business first. Because thing is, as a man, if you're taking care of your business, the women are going to be a byproduct of that, no matter what, no matter what.
Yeah. Um. And I'm always gonna say it's good when men prioritize themselves on the betterment and actually having more of a cash flow go in. And I even look at like the real estate market a little bit, not too much, because again, from New York, you start to realize this is a city of sharks. So um,
Absolutely.
with learning that, you become a little bit interested, like how people have these loopholes or this, that, and the third. And even
Yeah.
speakingly, just briefly, they even changed the law. They've actually put a bill, or they put a law out with actually changing how they're gonna be doing the Airbnb in New York City. Like basically, you gotta sign up. You gotta sign some type of document and do all these like different things because they say Airbnb is ruining the quality of looking for apartments in New York City. And I was like, that's so much bullshit, man. You can't blame the Airbnb franchise, and especially with short-term leases or whatever and stuff like that. I said, yo, there was really many factions to that. It was the pandemic, and plus we was already battling the whole entire real estate in New York. Like y'all had empty apartments that y'all still was cashing in on, for a
Absolutely.
long time, and still doing it now. You put in those investments, and we wonder why a bunch of these a bunch of these apartments is sitting vacant because
Of
y'all getting
course.
paid. You know what I mean? So
Of course.
don't try to say Airbnb is kind of the problem, because I don't believe Airbnb is that much of the problem for it, because it's just
No.
like they conduct business anywhere.
Yeah. No, definitely not. I mean, I completely agree with you. I mean, like remember the pandemic during this peak, like so many people was getting PPP loans, man.
Yes, they was getting those PP loans for real. And hey, look, getting those PPP loans, getting those them checks. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? So
Oh yeah.
obviously it was that time. Many people played it smart, clean up my credit. Let me start an LLC. Let me do this. Let me do that. You know what I mean? Like play it cool. You know what I mean? And yeah, definitely was a time, to change things up. But that whole entire real estate business, I just didn't enjoy that they tried to say Airbnb. I said, shit, Airbnb is a fucking miracle. When I traveled out to Boston this year, uh, I didn't want to go to a hotel for almost $200 or
Yeah.
300. I was like, I'm only going to spend a couple of days out in Boston. I'm like, hey, look, listen, I want to pay. I want to pay us something a little bit cheaper. And hey, I got the finest fucking, I had the finest fucking time in a good ass room. So, you know,
That's what's up, man. No, I mean, yeah, like with Air. Well, one of the things I like about Airbnb, is like for me, like I like not being in a hotel. Like I actually like being, whether it being like in an apartment building or
yeah.
a house or something like that. You know what I mean? Like to me, like the to me, I just like that feel. And then not only that, like let's say let's say like I go to, I go to Colombia, you know what I mean? And I want to, I want to get like some groceries, maybe some bread, some eggs, some orange juice, some water, whatever. Maybe I want to make, breakfast in the morning or something like
Hmm.
that. You know what I mean? Or you know what I'm saying? Or like I want to make, just make something quick. You know what I mean? So I like it for that aspect. And,
Yeah.
and, and also I like the privacy as well, because when you're in a hotel, like someone's directly across from you, someone's right next to you. You know what I mean? And then like you never know like who's listening and hearing your business, bro. And I just don't like it. Me personally, I just don't like it.
And in my opinion, I like the Airbnb wave anyway, because my thing is, yes, and I agree with you. The privacy, you know what I'm saying? I don't have to. They just tell you like, yo, look, listen, this is your room, do your thing. As long as you take care of it, clean up after yourself, cool. Like, you know, get what you want, cook, you know, do what you want, blah blah blah. This that, and third. Here's the amenities, this that, and third. Whereas a hotel, you get that annoying ass cleaning lady that's knocking on your door, be like, housekeeping, and you be sitting there, you be like, damn, son, it's like fucking 10 a.m. in the morning. I'm still tired.
Right.
You gotta rely on them to clean your room. I'm like, I don't want that. Like, and then I'm talking aesthetics too, because I was able to get the studio at an Airbnb, and I was like, yo, this studio, I like the whole brick and mortar. I don't even know if that's the term, but the whole like brick look. You know what I mean? And it's still like that badass like fucking studio. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you doing boss shit. Like, you made it in life because you did that. Shout outs to Amtrak too. I actually took one of the luxurious trains over there, so I was happy about that shit too.
You took the
Acela.
The Acela, okay.
Yeah, I took the Acela. Got that shit for cheap, nigga. You know what I mean? I was happy as fuck. I was like, yo, because you know Amtrak is expensive. Fuck that.
Yeah.
But real shit though, that's why I said I prefer Airbnbs versus hotels and motels. Well, fuck no, I don't really prefer motels like that. But that's why I prefer Airbnbs. Yeah, that's why I prefer Airbnbs than, you know, than hotels. But, you know, even with that, one of the different things that I had thought about, and I really think, now I've wanted to know this just in general, especially from you, because, you know, we come out of a time of like, you know, the last 3 years was very traumatic. It was like a very dramatic experience and all these different things you had to go through what we had to go through with the pandemic. So I just wanted to know from you, has the pandemic affected your traveling? Has it affected your business and the way of conducting things? You know, especially as being a passport bro or being a black man who travels.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't affected my business. It actually made me have to be more savvy, more creative, actually. So it actually, you know, it actually, because the thing is, like, especially like during that time, you can't go anywhere. You know what I mean? You can't go anywhere. You're locked in, and like the only thing that you could do is either, you know, suffer in silence or utilize your time to learn, read, educate yourself. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's what I did, man. That's what I did. And I mean, I'm still learning. I'm still learning. You know, there's other ventures that I want to get into, you know, when it comes to the, you know, financial aspect. But what I did realize in the pandemic, especially like a lot of people, you know, they were out of work. And yeah, you know, some people probably just, you know, sat on their ass and, you know, just collected a check or whatever. But what I realized is that, like, especially in this day and time, like, you need to have multiple streams of revenue.
Yes.
Especially men, like, you need to have at least, I would say, anywhere from 3 to 5 streams of revenue. Mm-hmm. Like, listen, like, I don't care if you work at a, you know, corporate 1000, corporate 500 company, and, you know, you're making well above 6 figures, and, you know, you're living comfortably, but hey, you know what, like, at night you want to be, you know, you want to do Lyft, you want to do Uber, or you want to, you know, you want to invest in, you know, stocks, crypto, you want to, you know, develop whatever it is. Like, just make sure that you are having multiple streams of income, because one thing that the pandemic showed is that, like, your faucet, your money faucet, can turn off like that. Yes, and I saw a lot of people who were really messed up, and, you know, and it got dark for them. It really did get dark for them.
Yeah, I've seen both sides of the coin. You know, people would be like, yo, you know, I've done so great in the pandemic, that didn't slow me down one bit. And there's others that's just like, yo, like, I lost a lot, and it's hard for me to gain, you know what I mean? These different organizations, companies, people who've even talked to me. So, you know, hey, I mean, it's whatever you could make out of the situation. I'll be honest with you, I hated the pandemic. I
Yeah.
mean,
I mean,
I
I don't think anyone
fucking
actually
hate it.
liked it, but
But certain people was just, but you know how certain conversations they was like,
yeah,
yeah, the pandemic that did my thing and blah blah blah. Where it's like, yo, I fucking hated it. Like I like even now they sit up there talking about this new variant. I said, yo, please don't start with this shit again. I don't need this. I do not need this drama in my life, yo. I really
there's
don't
always
need it.
some variant or something, man.
Swear to God, I don't need it, man. Yeah, and because it's like every summer, and it's that's what it usually. Because usually it's not it once the winter hits. I've noticed it's not really that bad, but like specifically, if it's usually like the summer to the fall, that's when they start the WHO organization. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, new variant, new variant." I'm like, "Oh my God, bro!" Like, I
Yeah,
don't. Like I said, I don't need this drama in my life, yo. Like,
right,
I'm,
exactly,
I'm an
exactly.
honest man, making an honest living, doing what I can, yo. I don't need this shit in my life, man.
Right,
But
I agree.
yeah, agreed. Cold weather does kill the virus. But so with that being said, you said the pandemic didn't really affect you. So, going off of this,
Well, not
we
financially,
not financially, no, no,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
They're not obviously not. But in other ways it could have even if it wasn't directly you, it affected you in some way because you knew someone who was
Oh yeah.
affected. Yeah, and I definitely knew it. Definitely on my side, like definitely know people. It was
Oh,
just like
absolutely, man. Absolutely, absolutely.
yeah, it was fucking crazy, bro. But
Yeah.
so we talked about earlier. I wanna get into this with you because one of the things that I actually find phenomenal from you and a couple of guys that I've seen that are passport bros are related, um, talking about crypto, talking about stocks, talking about owning a business, and you
Mhm.
already alluded to the fact that matter that you have a business. So, or do you feel comfortable telling me what the business is or no?
Oh yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. I mean, a lot of people know. So in the city of Medellin, Colombia, I
Mm-hmm.
have an Airbnb, and so what I do is I rent out the Airbnb. Sometimes I do monthly, sometimes I mean, whatever whatever it is. But I have it in the heart of Medellin, like it's really like near everything. And so they have like different sections of Medellin. So it's kind of like and they call it like estradas or whatever. So like they have 1 through 6, one being like the worst area, and then 6 being the best.
Mm-hmm.
So my area is in like 5, 6, and it's walking distance from everything. Anything that you need is literally right there, like right downstairs. You could get coffee or tea. One of my guys, he's from Georgia, and he has like a fusion of soul food and like
What?
Caribbean food,
Yeah,
and that's right
nice.
across the street. Yeah, man. So like it's like businesses, like you can open businesses, man, and it's just very important to do that. So well, one of the next things that I'm going to tackle is just adding on to my Airbnb platform. That's something that I'm hyper focused on. And then also forex trading. So that's foreign exchange. So that's something else that I'm getting focused in on. And then also with stocks, that's something else that I'm actually getting focused on. So as I mentioned, you want to have multiple streams of income because, as I mentioned, like you just never know what can happen. And for me, I'm a father. My son's 9 years old, and so by the time he becomes a legal adult, 18, I want him to have a fortune where he have a fortune, and then his children's children have a fortune. Like, here's the thing, you know what I mean? Like, I know, like, we're talking about traveling. I don't want to get too far down the rabbit hole, but the thing is, as Black people, and I know some people are trolling in the chat and stuff, but on a serious note, what we do need to think about, especially men, we need to start thinking about generational wealth. Like, okay, yeah, like I do good, right now, and then once my son get older, whatever, yeah, I just hook him up with a job. Like, no, like let's start thinking about our children's, man, because I was listening on the radio, right? I was listening on sports radio. I was listening to a guy. Most of you guys may know this guy, Stephen A. Smith,
Yes.
and he was saying that the NFL football team, the Dallas Cowboys, is worth $9.1 billion, and that is one of the highest earning. That's the highest. I believe that's the highest sports franchise. They even are more expensive
True.
than the New York Yankees. The New York Yankees are actually worth $7 billion. The Dallas Cowboys are worth $9 billion. And I believe it was in 1993. Don't correct me. I can't remember the year, but Cowboys owner Jerry Jones, he bought the Cowboys for, I believe, 150 million at that particular time, and now they are worth 9.1 billion dollars. So
I think you said Jerry Jones bought the.
the Dallas Cowboys for $150 million.
Oh, he said 140. I'm not sure.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. Did I say 140? I meant so 140,
140.
150.
Yeah, it said 140, and then it said like 1989. It says.
Oh, 1989. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, okay. So you was actually correcting me like on the dates. Okay. Got you. Okay. Sorry about that.
No, I was just trying to see because I was it just popped into my mind. I was like, yo, this is interesting. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So all right. So he bought it for anywhere between 140 to 150, late 80s, early 90s,
Mm-hmm.
and now in the year 2023, they are worth $9.1 billion.
God damn.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like these are things that like that we got to start thinking about, and like brothers in the tribal community, these are things that we actually have conversations about. And yeah, there's some dudes, like yeah, man, I'm going to see the beauties and all that other stuff, but these are things that I'm focused on, because the thing about it is listen, man, like pussy is everywhere, man, like but if you're a man of means and all that, like that's you're gonna get that. There's more women on the earth than men.
Man.
So what does
Mhm.
that mean? Like that means like, yo, like you miss a girl today, you find a girl tomorrow, man. These are like, focus on your financial future and focus on your children's future. That's what really should be the main focus. And those are the tribal brothers who I like to surround myself around.
That's correct, and as you should. Um, I'm definitely gonna chop it up with you because I'm always curious about forex, and I've been seeing the whole trading thing online. I just don't. One thing I don't like being told. I don't like the get rich schemes. Like I don't want to know you putting me on to something, and then it's just like, yeah, because you could earn 2,000 or 3,000, and I was like, that doesn't move me because I know you could be selling me a product that's not true. I want to know,
Right.
you know what I
Well,
mean? I
no.
want to know
Yeah.
that if you're gonna be telling me this, I want to actually learn it. I don't give a damn how long it takes me. Do I want to know that I'm making some income off of it or making tremendous? Of course, because obviously we all trying to get money. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
This day and age, basically the difference with this day and age is you don't need a 9 to 5 to earn income. You don't. Like
Yeah.
you need skill. You need to know how you're gonna help other people. Like those different things. I studied tech last year, and I seen the potential it could give me. You know what I mean? But that's a lot of people. The way of living has changed for how we maneuver in a society. Even the Airbnb business, I would do that. And yeah, but I would definitely speak to you about the forex or stuff like that, or another time whenever it comes to mind. I'll make sure to email you. But
Yeah.
so
or just hit me up on Instagram, man.
oh yeah, for sure. I'll definitely hit you up on Instagram. I just don't be on there as much, but yeah, I'll hit you up for sure. But so With that being said, I want to know this from you because I also definitely wanted to get into the business aspect. Its terms of learning that as well. So, with being someone, especially a black man who travels, owning a business as Airbnb, from experience, do you feel like it was easy to start off? Was it hard to start off? Was it a low investment, a high investment? Like, how was it for you when you started off, your businesses as Passport Bro? Like, what was the investment like? Was it easy?
Well, I would say that it was like easier because I had people who were willing to show me the ropes and really put me through, like help me to avoid, you know, help me to avoid things that they had already been through. So, like, and that's the thing. I would say if I did not have people that were actually able to help me kind of, cut through the yellow tape, so to speak, I think that it would have been, would have been definitely challenging. And so this is why, like, you got to surround yourself with like-minded people because, like, when you have like-minded people around you and people that actually, want to see you win, and brothers who look like you actually want to see you win, that's, like that'll put like an extra battery in your back, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's really, really important, man. So like the hiccups that I was potentially thinking that I was going to run into, I didn't. But again, it's because I had people who kind of already had been through those hiccups that they were able to let me know, like, hey, these are the potential watch outs, and this is what I did. These are the experiences that I had. This is what I did. You know what I mean? Each one teach one.
Right.
And I think us as a black community, especially men, we tend to always strive to get to the top, but we just at the top by ourselves and not wanting to pull each other up, and that's an issue that I have with our community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll segue into what we had spoken about offline, like with the businesses. So I'm not sure, but for anyone that is black, man or woman in here, not sure if y'all know, but there's 5 countries in the continent of Africa where if you decided to actually go there now, you would not need a visa. So you could actually live there and actually start a business there. Those 5 countries: Zimbabwe,
Mm-hmm.
Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, and I forgot the last one. I know we talked about this too. So Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana, my goodness, South Africa. South Africa is the 5th one. So we got South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, and I'm mistaking myself. I'm not. I mean, I think I've said all the 5, but the point about it is that you don't need a visa to actually relocate there. And the point is that, like, I don't know if you guys or ladies who are watching know that. So there's opportunities there for us, but are we actually taking these opportunities, or are we just so quick to not want to support one another because we're just so hyper focused on trying to get to the top that we just want to trample or run each other over?
Mm-hmm. And I definitely agree with that, even from the standpoint, really quick, off of the, off the Passport Bros. I'm always gonna be one who uplifts my brothers. And especially, not only uplifting, because mainly, I make it for the brothers and for men, because I want us to see us win. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I suppose I'm always gonna support the sisters, the black women, this,
Yeah.
that, and the third. Always, you know what I'm saying? Always, for a fact.
Right.
But for black men having a business, you know, really quickly off of this is because I was telling my homie the other day, when I was inspiring to get into tech, in which I still kind of stay on the fence about. I don't know, but you know, I was saying it's like I want to see black men move beyond the basics. What I mean by that is, and I'm not knocking black men that do this, but I do find it that, you know, black men usually are on a survival mode. So, you know, I'm used to black men telling me like, yo, this is how I'm gonna get the money, this is how I'm gonna get the paper. But often they're really depressed or they're sad off of the type of careers they decide to embark on. For instance, and again, I'm not judging anyone or whatever you do to make a living. I have nothing but respect for you. I'm always gonna respect you. One of the things that I usually see that is a common job that, you know, brothers will get, you know, security, or they'll do security, or do like services like biking services or stuff like that. Yep. Or do like Amazon or UPS or something like that. And again, I'm not knocking that. Yo, the benefits might be awesome. You know, the pay is awesome. I'm never knocking brothers for doing that. But I told this to someone and I said, look, us as black men, we can be those people in the tech offices. It's like only 2% of the black population in tech. Right. 2%.
Yep, that's it.
That's it. You don't need that. Like, literally, you're seeing these tech firms that's usually like Asian or white. You know what I'm saying? And I said, I want to see people, you know, even talking to and I'm sorry to out, one of my parents, you know what I'm saying? Love y'all to death. Don't kill me. They was also excited to get into tech. They'd be like, oh, I went to boot camp. And I said, yes, that's right. You get your ass in there. You know what I'm saying? So I was excited to hear that. But I say that to say black men have to move the needle. And I believe we can, because the fact of the matter is we are capable of so much more. I mean, shit, if a black man can create a damn remote or create the things to have the internet working or create a street light, you know, people like Garrett Morgan, I believe his name is, that created things. Mm-hmm. We are able to move the needle and be successful and be great. So that's why I said, I'm like, we have to move beyond, and especially with even at the base of this conversation saying, hey, yo, pick up your passport. Let's go over here, bro. Let's go to Greece. Let's go to any old country in Europe, or let's go to South America. You know what I mean? Let's go to Argentina. Let's go to Brazil. This, that, and the third. That starts the mindset of plugging in the lights of a black man's mind. Yo, we can actually have fun, do what we want to do, and own a business. You know what I'm saying? We need to be in the big leagues. I believe we should. You know, so I definitely wanted to put that out there as one of the greatest conversations I had. Even, like I said, even when they came at me, they was like, Bronsberg, like, what the fuck you mean you went to Boston? Ain't they racist? And I said, when I
That's
went to...
funny.
Yeah, you know what I mean? When I fucking went to Boston, the crazy thing about it was, I mean, inherently, I thought, yeah, it's going to be fucking racist. And yes, this is still in the United States, but I ain't never been to Boston, right? So I went out there, and I was just like, fuck, I'm in a fucking neighborhood with mad, like, Italians and shit. And then when I looked down the street, I looked at the firefighter house, I saw one black man, I was like, all right, I'm good. You know how you need that validation? You know what I mean?
Right, yeah. Yeah, trust me, I know, like, you know, like if you've ever gone into like a store or something like that, you know, in a predominantly like non-melanated, you know, area, whatever, and then like you see like the one melanated guy, and you get that head nod, like, all right,
yeah, I got that. And I automatically was happy as shit. I went to the pizza shop. And I heard, I think the guy was he was like Eastern African. I said, I don't even give a fuck. This is a black dude, so I'm happy as shit. But the point is, I would have never gotten that experience if I held back and I let everybody tell me this, that, and the third. I said, Boston isn't as racist as I thought it was going to be. I thought they would have called me a nigga, this, that, and the third. Like, it's not as racist as you thought, you know, just like when people try to relate to me, like here in New York, oh, you shouldn't be going to Bensonhurst and this, that, and the third. It's like, I went to Bensonhurst with an Italian friend, and Bensonhurst is now mad Asian people. Like, what the fuck you mean? You know what I mean? Yeah. But, Yeah, I just say we start off with that, and the basis for this conversation as well is to get more black men to think the possibilities you can have that's outside your door. As soon as you have that passport in your hand, or as soon as you even think about, hey, let me get an LLC to start this business off of something I can collect and have passive income. And it's just like you said earlier, 4 to 5 streams of income is recommended. I would go hard and say you need 10 or 11. You know what I'm saying? To do the best that you can. And the wonderful information we have today on Instagram, YouTube, I always refer to Instagram, but you know, Snapchat, whatever it is, the wonderful information. So I'm always gonna put that out for us as brothers. Just to tie down, there's a couple more questions, and then
Absolutely, brother.
we could end it off. But one of the things I wanted to know, so when traveling to these countries, I want to know for myself as well. What is it like with living in these countries? Because I'm kind of naive to it, because I just want to know for my own self. So when it comes to the visa process, right? Certain countries that you decide to stay in or live in and stuff like that. Like, I know there's a time of like how long you can be somewhere before they're just like, yo, you need a visa to be here, or you need this, that, and the third. Like,
Yeah.
certain countries is like that. So can you kind of run me like your experience when it came to Colombia? Like, did you need a visa to be there? Like, how was it?
Yeah, so for Colombia, the visa tends to last. The visa tends to last 90 days. Now, I have heard that there's ways that you can actually make that last 100, 180 days. So basically 6 months.
Hmm.
Um, and so like that's how it is. So you could beat it like when you first fly there, and you know your visa lasts for up to 90 days. Now again, I've heard up to 180 days, but that's how long you can be there. Now you can apply for your residency, um, but you have to, for to be a resident there. But I believe that does take some time, and you also have to be like not necessarily 100% fluent, but I believe like there's like different levels. There's like different levels of that, and I don't want to necessarily like get into that because that's more of what I get into like in a consultation. But I'll say that there's levels to it, like as far as like becoming a resident. But when it comes to the visa for Colombia, standard is 90 days, and I
Okay.
think Mexico is 90 days as well. There are some countries that's like 30 days or something like that. Like it all really depends on like where you go.
Okay. Yeah,
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 but
yeah.
but for Colombia, so you could be out there at minimum 6 months. Some people, I mean, 3 months. Some people have said that they've been out there for 6 months. So, but like I would say, the average person, let's just go with 90 days. I'll keep it simple like that.
90 days, so about three
Yeah.
months. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think Mexico may be 90 days. Sorry, not to cut you off, but I think
yeah,
Mexico
yeah.
may be 90 days because I have a couple of my boys that live in Mexico, and then so what they'll do is like on the last day, what they'll do is they'll fly to the states and then fly right back, and then
Oh,
the
okay.
clock starts again. Yep.
That's kind of nice though. You're like, yeah, I just came out here like last week. Start again. That's kind of cool shit.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I like that.
One of my boys, like on day 89, like so this person, lives in Florida,
Hmm.
so like he'll fly to Florida, go see his people, for like a day or so, and then fly right back to Mexico.
I think that might
Yeah,
be my life, yo. I'm not gonna lie. I would love that shit. Day 88, 89. I'm like, yo, look, it's almost 3 months. Let me come back. And then I'm gonna come back again. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
yeah, I'm gonna fly right back. Um,
yeah.
so, okay, so to basic, the last few questions I have is
Sure, go
going
ahead.
back into your experience as someone who's traveling. Just to
Mhm.
get a perspective, did you have any dramatic experiences in specific countries that you could remember? Uh,
Traumatic
yeah,
experience.
dramatic experiences. If it's Colombia, if it's if it's anywhere else, like dramatic experiences, especially when they notice that you were an American?
No, like no. What I would say is that like you get embraced. You get embraced. The one thing what I would say is that like for the most part, people are happy to see you. You know, people are happy to see you. People want to know about want to know about like, oh, how was it in the United States if they've never been? And then also, what people get happy about is when you show an interest in learning their culture, right? Because like people see these shows, 90 Day Fiance, Date Abroad or whatever the case is, and some of the critics will say, oh yeah, like this chick is only, with you because she won a green card. Like what people don't realize is that, yeah, it's so funny. What people don't realize is that like a lot of these countries, especially like Colombia, is well developed, right? So the city of Medellin, for an example, they have their own subway, and their subway is like the New York City subway, like how it's built. But the thing is that like it's way cleaner. I mean, super clean. It's super clean, and they give you a card. It's essentially looks like a Metro card, where you slide it or whatever the case is. So you have that, and the infrastructure, the infrastructure is top notch. The malls, they look better than some of the malls in the States. So like some of the critics will say, oh man, you guys are going to these third world countries or whatever. And it's like, yo, like motherfucker, stop watching Narcos. Like you see no, seriously, like you see the shit that happened with Pablo Escobar. That shit was like in the 80s and 90s. Like, yo, like no, like this place is really well developed, 5G Wi-Fi. You know what I mean? Like, like you gotta get off your ass and actually travel, because people will think like, oh man, these are third world countries. Also, another thing, Colombia is a second world country, by the way. Brazil is a second world country on its way to be a first world country. As I mentioned, Brazil is 1/2 to 1/3 the size of the United States. Someone look up a map of Brazil who hasn't traveled. Maybe one of your trolls in here could actually look it up. But the thing is, when you actually see these things, it's like, okay, like these places are developed, and as I mentioned, these people are proud, and these people like actually want to be actually want to stay in their country. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I would say this real quick, because I agree with you.
I was trying to see that comment.
Yeah. This is Enhanced Utilities, always dropping jewels. Always enjoy him. Peace to you, brother. He says he's right. United States has lost ground on some key metrics in terms of quality of life. Even second and third world nations are catching up with us. Absolutely.
Boom. Shout out to Enhanced Utility. Yep.
Shout out to Enhanced. And that's why I think trolls are not. I've always thought, and I've always said, you have to be very humble when you say things. It's wrong when we have this type of state of mind where, because Americans, we think we're so better than everybody else. I'm like, no, there's so much shit we're so back behind on. These other countries is actually doing better than us. So you want to sit up there and kind of get out a passport, bro, and say all these different things. I'm kind of like, well, the passport, bro, is moving actually better than you, because they actually know what countries is doing well and is actually moving into, even better economically.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. While we out here like so concerned Ukraine and all this shit. So, that's why I say, it's definitely like especially when I heard about Colombia, becoming more of like a first world country, Brazil like a first world country. I say, look, listen, you can't shit on that, my man. Like they actually doing really fucking great right now. Whereas we barely there Biden. You know what I mean? And all the fuck shit. Let me stop saying my political views, because it's about to be 2024. You know what I mean? So the election about to come on. Let me chill out.
I got you though.
Yeah, but
I got you.
But yeah, the point is though, like I said, I think it is when we go to these, you actually teach me something. You know what I'm saying? Because I would look at Colombia and be like, wow, well, actually, I really do want to take a trip out there. Or I look at Brazil and I'd be like, yeah, man, like this is some shit that I need. So, yeah. Miss Mona's back on the live. Yeah, that's what I think, man.
Sorry about that.
No,
Yeah,
you
I
good.
can speak freely now.
Oh, you have an echo.
You got an echo a bit.
Oh, okay, 1 minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So say that last part, brother.
Oh no, I was just saying, like, besides my political views, right?
Yeah. Political side, yeah.
Especially now, we just had the fucking Republican like debate. Trump doing what he's doing, and then it's just like we about to see the Democratic one that's going on. Lord have mercy. I think, and I'm gonna give a quick. I have a quick update. Shout outs to people in chat. I probably maybe will do a stream talking about the elections and talking about the American, because we're Americans, so guys might want to talk about it. What's your political views? All perspectives welcome. I'm not against anybody. If you're against Trump, if you're against Biden, that's your business. I don't care. Whatever you like. That's all whatever you feel strongly on. Like, what do you think America can move forward? What are we doing wrong? What are we doing right? Because, hey, look, listen, I'm American. Like it or not, I'm American. So it is what it is. But that's just a quick announcement, as well as saying, real quick, another announcement. We will be proceeding with the Brownstone Powwow also on September 11th, and you're also welcome to come through Kings and Dreams. We're gonna be celebrating the 50th anniversary of hip hop. We talking 1520 Sedgwick Avenue, Bronx, New York. That whole entire shit. We gonna get into mad conversations about hip hop. Shout outs to the Bronx, birthplace of hip hop. You know what I mean? September 11th, 1973. But yeah, that's mainly it. I just don't like the arrogance in which you have to just be very humble about what you're coming into. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be that type. Like, that's a third world country. How do you know? Like, how do you know they're a third world country? Just because you might see somebody on a paved road and they wearing sandals, or they just wearing, like, they not wearing no socks, or they walking barefoot? That can't be the consensus for every country. You know what I mean? Like, that's bullshit. Right. But yeah, man.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, definitely that the political spectrum. I mean, definitely don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but I mean, it's messy. It's messy. I will say that for sure. But just going back into the development of these countries. These countries are starting to become more developed. I mean, we could talk about countries in Southeast Asia. You know what I mean? We could talk about Vietnam. We could talk about Thailand. I mean, shoot, like let's look at like Japan. Japan is developed, man. You know what I mean? Like if anyone is a gamer, why do you think why do you think whatever the PlayStation, the Xbox, whatever it is, like they already have basically, like, they have the games for like a year or two. And they're like, well, you know what? Might as well ship it out to America now. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
I mean, guys, whoever watching, like, the thing is, man, I'll say this. You guys really got to do your research, and when you try to be a critic for someone traveling, or someone meeting, someone dating someone abroad or whatever, and you try to clown them and say, oh, well, why can't you find someone over here, or whatever the case is, man. Listen, let that person explore their options. And as I mentioned, there's almost 200 countries in this world, and I'm sure there are some educated people, or people who think that they're educated and don't know shit. And it's so funny, man. Like, you got your bachelor's and your master's degrees and all that, and you don't know shit about the world, man.
Right. It was just like how what R.I.P. Kevin Samuel used to say.
I was about to.
You was on the same page, right? Yeah. He was like, I'm a PhD. Like, shut the fuck up, yo.
Right. Yeah.
Like, you think you all had a bag of chips, man. You didn't even explore the world. You just got your bachelor's and your master's degree. Talking cat shit. Boy, it's crazy, man.
But stale chips.
For real, stale as fuck. Bodega stale, you know what I mean?
Word. Poppy.
Word.
You like, yo, Poppy, I need another bag, bro. Yo, like, who opened these?
Hey, Poppy, like, why is the cat sitting on these goddamn packages, bro? Like, what's up with that? Come on, Pop. Come on, Pop.
Word, the cat always sleep. It's like, yo, what y'all be feeding them, man? That be feeding that melatonin, B.
I was like, how does dude? Yo, it's crazy. He's like, yo, how you got this cat in the back where you making the food? I just ordered a bacon, egg, and cheese. You being really disrespectful right now, bro. Like, you just got my Arizona and shit. Fuck out of here, yo. We not doing that. Well, yeah, man. So I just got like 2-3 more questions for you,
man,
and then,
go ahead, man. We rocking and rolling, brother.
Rocking and rolling. Love the interview. Make sure y'all getting those lights up.
Still echoing, please.
No, you're good.
No, you're actually good.
Okay, thank you.
Great.
So I had a question. What is it? I don't know if you answered this question because I was trolling in the chat, so I wasn't listening too well. But I just wanted to know, what have you noticed the difference between an American female and the rest of the world? Like, what's the difference?
Well, what I would say is, not necessarily just American women, but I would say Westernized women. So we're talking, we're talking across the pond too. So, North America, across the pond, and also Western Europe and the continent and country of New Zealand and Australia. So, like, what I would say is that that the majority of the women, they seem to have an entitlement, right? And so, like, perfect example, I'm in one group on Facebook, and I don't want to put this guy out there, but Bronze, I think you may know him, but I'll tell you offline. But so he has this one group on Facebook, and so he just happened to ask, like, in the chat, and he added everyone, like, you hit that symbol so everyone's able to see it. And then he said, a woman, would you compete for a man? And, like, a lot of the women were, just like, I'm not going to compete for a man, this, that, and the other. And the women that said that they would compete for a man, they were either from, like, the Caribbean, they were either from some, like, from Africa, or just not like Westernized. And I didn't look through every single woman, but most of the women that I looked through, like, they were either, like, you could just tell, like, there's a difference of, like, how these women said, yeah, of course, like, I don't mind competing, you know what I mean? And that's just the mentality. Like, Westernized women, I don't want to say all, but Westernized women have this thought process, like, they don't need to compete. And you do need to compete, because here's the thing, right? Like, you talk about, I got a degree. Well, you had to compete to get your degree. You had to compete to get your PhD. You got to compete to get a raise, right? Because you want to perform well at work so you can earn more money. But then when it becomes for a man, it's like you don't want to compete, and not saying, like, oh, like, you gotta fight, you gotta fight a woman or whatever the case is, but competing, making sure that, hey, like, you're looking your best, or actually being appealing to the man that you want, because, like, man, you'd be so surprised at how many women will say, oh, God's gonna send me a good man, and it just manifests. And it's like, man, all you do is go to work and go home. So how are you gonna find a man if you going to work and just going home? You're not trying to go out to do you even know where the man that you want hangs out?
Okay, but I've got a question. So I don't compete with women because I believe I'm better than most women. So they're not my competition, and they're not on my level. Is that wrong for me to think like that?
Well, what I would say is that, like, if you are doing, and anticipating your man. Okay, so if you're anticipating your man's needs and you're catering to him, then no, then you're good. Like if a man prefers, and I'm not saying you specifically, but just in general.
Yeah, in general.
Like if a man, is into fitness and he wants his woman to be in shape, whatever, and, like, you know, let's say like you have a baby and like, you know, you're like 50 or 60 pounds overweight and he's not fucking you anymore. Like you're not competing anymore. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, you gotta, you know what I mean? You gotta do what you gotta do, you know, and also I would say definitely anticipating your man's needs. Like for an example, like if he like if you know, you guys are talking, getting to know each other, whatever, and you know, like he happens to just mention like what like his favorite meal is, and you know, like one day, you know, you come over and or he comes over, whatever, you know, and you pop up with his favorite meal, or you know,
Mhm.
pop up to his job or whatever the case is, you know what I mean? And
Mm.
you
So,
know,
so females that are not competitive, are they less desirable?
competitive with you. Well, you said that you specifically are not competitive with other women.
That's correct. Yeah.
Right. So what I'm saying is that like it's not necessarily about competing with other women. Well, you're actually are indirectly competing with other women.
Yes, exactly. That's what I see it as. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but what the thing is that you know what I mean. Like if you're focused on your man's needs and wants, you know, then you're good to go. So if you're taking care of everything in that department, then there's no need. But if you're not taking care of things in that department, then you know winter's coming.
Okay. And what about men? Do they need to compete for women, or what do you think about men competing for women? Because men do that anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, men are naturally competitive by nature anyway.
Right.
I mean, so like that's kind of inherent in men anyway, because like throughout life, you know, we're always told to you know to compete and things of that sort. So that's something that's like innate with men, right? Like
Is
for
it
an
pick me? Is it pick me energy you get when,
Pick
or is
me.
it what energy do you get when a man's competitive or competing? Some say it's simp behavior.
like well okay like what do you mean by competing you now you kind of because you have to give me some sort of
Okay.
context like dig deeper if you don't mind.
Okay, so some men, for example, say a woman's on a live, this is just an example, and
Hmm.
they're in the chat going back and forth saying, oh, like, look at me, trying to get this female's attention by what they're writing, saying, sending her super chats, doing things,
Oh yeah,
competing
yeah,
against other men in order to look like the big peacock, and shaking his tail feather.
yeah,
So they're competing against each other to get this female's attention by super chatting her, doing the most likes, doing some grand gestures. I'm just giving that's an example of something that we can both relate to.
right, right.
So, are those men pygmishas, but menishas, or what, what are they? Are they
So
are they
yeah,
competing, or are they menishas,
what
pygmishas that are men?
Maniches, that's funny. Well, this is what I'm going to say. So those men, so that is what you would call you know simpish behavior because, well, the thing is, you know, the thing is that like like when a man shows a woman too much attention, then you know, then like she knows that she doesn't really have to put in that effort. See what I'm saying? Like, you know, if a guy's showing a woman too much attention, then she knows that she doesn't necessarily have to compete because she already knows that she has the guy.
Right.
Because if you notice, what ends up happening is that usually when a guy is showing a woman too much attention, he either A gets friend zoned or B he typically gets cheated on.
Wow. Um. Okay. I like men paying me a lot of attention personally. It means
Okay. But
yeah.
what I'm saying is like overt attention because like
Okay.
you know you're doing the super chat. Oh, it's like oh my god, you're so beautiful. Here's $100
Right.
super
Yeah.
chat. Oh, here's from Big Jerry. I see you, boo. Like come on, dog. You know what I mean? Like you do it too much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My personal favorite is when they say, my personal favorite, me and Mona always talk about this. My personal favorite is when they say, oh my God, she's so beautiful, and they ain't never seen her behind an avatar. That's my
Yeah.
personal
You
favorite.
know, so well, yeah. One
Yeah.
of you know one of my favorites is like one of my favorites is like well my favorite thing to be annoyed at is when a guy will say like a woman is so beautiful and it's like yo you can't even see her face she got her ass hanging out it's like
Right.
you don't even know what she look like dog
Like,
you
what
know
you
what I
doing,
mean
man?
yeah or like or like a woman with like, let's say like, she got like her like titties like squished together, and so she like, yeah, I'm a baddie, and like the dude's like, yo, I want to take you out on a date, yo, when can I pick you up? It's like, come on,
It's like,
dog.
relax, bro. Like,
Yeah, because guys, listen, and I know we kind of segueing into a different conversation, but
Right.
that's cool.
but the thing is, guys, if you realize like that, if you weren't giving women all this attention, there wouldn't be so many Instagram models, there wouldn't be so many OnlyFans and things like that. Because the reason why these things exist and why some of these women will think like, okay, like, she's average, maybe a 5 or a 6, but now she thinks she's on the upper echelon, 8, 9, and 10, because there's so many of y'all that's in her DM. Like, yo, like she got her DMs muted. She knows she getting messages from you, because like, guys, I'll tell you like this. So, um, last year was a barbecue at one of my boys' house, and so this woman came through, whatever, very very attractive, very very attractive. I can't even, one through 10, she was like 8.5, 9. And so this guy was like, this guy, was talking to her, whatever, and he's like, hey man, let me get your number. She's like, I don't give my number out, but I give you my Instagram. I'm just like, yo, like, don't take it, don't take it, don't take it. He took it. I'm like, I'm like, now you just another follower. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? Because like, bro, all you're gonna be doing is like, all you doing is sending messages into an empty slot. Because like, yo, you're basically one of the dudes that's been DM her. You're gonna send her messages. You're basically in purgatory. Don't put yourself in purgatory. like like guys, if you ask a woman for like either like her WhatsApp or her phone number, whatever, and she says no, I only have Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or whatever the case is, you're put in purgatory. She's not feeling you. Move on. As I mentioned, there's more women than men. So men, if the bus misses you, you'll get another one.
And I
Yeah, it
will
could
say,
be a different
as a
route.
oh, sorry about that, Bronzebird. Now I say, as a female, I'll say that me personally, I only give men my number when I like them. When I don't like them, I say I don't have my phone. I've lost my phone, but you can have my Instagram if I really can't. And if I don't really like them, I'll say to them, "Listen, I don't like you. Get the fuck away from me." Those are the three things
Right.
I do.
But everything, but you just reiterated basically
Exactly.
everything that I just said.
Exactly. So you're right. I do not give men my number because it's easy to change my Instagram and ignore my Instagram. It's not as easy to change my number and ignore my phone.
Right,
Yeah.
because again, with Instagram, with Instagram, like any woman that's attractive, and she has like over like, let's say like, 2,000 Instagram followers or whatever. Trust me, trust me. There's some dudes in purgatory. Trust me.
Hell yeah.
There's some old bones that can be dug up. Trust me. You
Hmm.
are in the archives, brother. You are in the archives.
No, but I agree. That's what I said. I would say to you that I agree with you from a female's perspective.
Yeah.
I do use Instagram, or I don't. Yeah, I use Instagram as a form of control. I send them there when I don't want to be rude, but I don't want to get attacked, or maybe
Of course.
something like some men. They give the vibe that if you don't give them something, they'll hold you down. So
Right.
it's a bit like that's the in
Yeah, no,
between thing.
I get it, and and there is, there is some truth to that. That there is some, semblance where the, some guys, are unhinged. You know what I mean? Like, no, for real, no, for real.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you missed it earlier, because I know you said that you were like playing around.
No, it wasn't.
But
Yeah.
what I had said earlier, was that like, for some of the guys, Brownsburg was basically saying a story about a guy. I think he had just turned like 50 years old or whatever, and he had gotten his passport, and he had brandished a weapon online, and was saying, yeah, like, whoever, don't mess with me. I'm traveling, got my passport. I don't care, blah blah blah, right? And so like, this guy seems a bit unhinged, and yes, having a passport and traveling is some form of therapy, but like if you really have some mental health issues, and a lot of men, and a lot of men, especially black men in our community, we do have some mental health issues that we do.
Undiagnosed. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I've even went to therapy, you know what I mean? And I have I've gotten so much clarity. Life is better, you know what I mean? And men, don't be afraid to go to therapy. What I would say is, though, when you do find a therapist, make sure that it is a masculine therapist, and make sure that it's not a woman. And that's not me being sexist. It's just that men understand men's problems.
You don't think women do?
No, they empathize. Like, we empathize with yours, but we're not women and you're not men.
Okay. Me personally, the reason why I don't go to opposite sex, because I feel that there's always this sexual tension. That's the only reason why. But I would go to male or female, because I felt that I get on better with men. I find I don't get on well with females at all. So when I go to therapy, it's like women say things that I just think I don't relate to you, whereas I tend to relate to men better. But as I said, the only reason why I don't go to men, there's always that tension. That's the only reason. But no, I find I don't get on. I find that female therapists are not up to my standards.
Mm.
Yeah, that's just me. And a lot of women will tell you that they prefer male therapists.
Well, you know what? And
Yeah,
actually that's actually, you know what? That's actually not an issue.
yeah,
I would say that's not an issue, but for men,
yeah.
men get men therapists.
Okay.
Yeah, men definitely get men therapists.
Uh, yeah, sorry about that.
I think one of the things is, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I think one of the reasons why is because, like, with therapists, they're gonna set a structure and a tone, and men are used to setting structure and tones. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So like, yeah, and guys, if you go to a woman therapist, you're gonna be, you're inadvertently emasculating yourself. So, talk to a masculine male therapist.
and another thing I know is that, and just like me, a lot of in that space you can start falling in love with your therapist, or you can start seeing her as your possible partner, and you're not going to therapy. You're going to see your I don't know, you start going to therapy for the wrong reasons. And that's what I personally, and if you're gay, then go to a female. Or if you're a gay female, go to a male. Those are the only exceptions I'd make. Yeah.
Um. Wow. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to respond.
Oh, no, it's true. A lot of men will tell you. I've had partners in the past tell me that they would go to their female therapist because it was someone that would listen. She was there to listen. She was like it's like having a relationship without sex. And I'm thinking that's not a relationship in that. You shouldn't be thinking like that about her. You're there to get help. Why would you be going there for your own perversions or your own? But some men do. They find that they start falling into a relationship category. They see their therapist as someone they're dating. And
Yeah, it's true. I know many
lots of
stories
them
like
do
that.
They do start doing that, and not just men. I won't say that. Females do as well. I found myself fall into that category, looking forward to see my therapist every week because I would be alone with him. Like, no, that's not what I was going in there for. I was going to get help. So that's what I now see females only.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I love this. Y'all are awesome. What? I think there's this one question I was gonna ask you.
No, go ahead, man. You got it.
The last two questions I believe I have for you tonight.
Okay.
And then also I'm always gonna keep telling people, make sure you subscribe to his page, Kings and Dreams. All right, cool. Yeah. So the last question I want to ask you, pretty much to kind of end this off, because I've been wondering this for a while.
Oh, sorry, Bonzo. To end it, would you allow anyone in the chat or on the panel to ask questions before he leaves, or?
Nah, we just gonna keep it to the interview tonight.
Okay.
It's up to you. I could I could take some questions. You know what I mean? Trust me, I could get some smoke.
Oh no, for sure. No, I kind of just wanted to keep it to an interview.
Okay,
Okay.
that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
That's cool.
Okay.
Cool.
Um,
That's cool. We'll have a smoke show another time.
yeah. We can. If you want to
That
do a
was
part
good.
two, we can do a part two. We
I
can
would
just
like
get
a part two.
really,
Yes,
yeah. We can
please.
do a passport, bros. Ask me anything. Bring the smoke.
Bring
Yeah,
the smoke.
we can
Yeah.
definitely do a part two. So the last thing that I really want to ask you
Make sure part two is extra sweet.
oh yeah, bro.
I'm gonna need that sugar. You heard?
Oh yeah, anybody come because I was already seeing somebody in chat. They ain't here now because they said they bored. And then you sit
Oh.
up there talking about
Okay.
why you ain't talking about this? Why these questions is lame as fuck? I was like, yo, go bring your ass on, yo.
But it's not even that. If it's so lame and so boring, then find another stream. Like, that's what I would
Thank
say.
you.
It's very easy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just you need to do that. But okay,
That's because niggas focused on the nigger shit.
thank
There you
you,
go.
nigga. Shit for real, nigga-tainment.
Yeah,
It's like for real.
that's what it is. That's what it is. And they don't want to learn, bro. I'm sorry. Go ahead though.
Yeah,
No. It's cool. So the last question I want to ask, the last two questions. So I wanted to ask you this. So, as terms as traveling and stuff like that, what would you recommend for those that's inspiring to become a passport bro, or just could be a regular black man who wants to travel? What places would you recommend for them to travel to start off?
First couple of places what I would recommend for them to travel to. I would say Mexico. You know, Mexico is a good one. There's a lot of expats, especially on the eastern part of Mexico, um, like Katana Roo area. So the Katana Roo area of Mexico. So that's like Cancun. There's a place called like Playa del Carmen, and a lot of expats live there. Americans, Canadians. Yeah, so I would say like that area is really good. Beaches, you get to explore there. I also would say Dominican Republic. Trying to think what else. Definitely explore the Caribbean. So definitely explore the Caribbean. Yeah, those are definitely places to get your feet wet. You know what I mean? I would say start there. Also, what I would say is that like just remember like outside of America, leave the American mentality in America.
Agreed.
So don't
Oh,
come
and sorry, and what places would you say to avoid going?
like for your first time.
Yeah, for your first time. What places would you
Okay,
say avoid, brothers?
So I just came back from Cuba. I would not recommend going to Cuba for your first trip. Like I would say Cuba, like that you would have to be anywhere between 5 to 10 countries in before you touch Cuba.
And do you mind giving us a little reason why?
Yeah, I was about to. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So the reason I'm saying that is because like when it comes to the infrastructure, the internet, also as a United States citizen, you are not able to use the ATM. Like so, you can't check your bank account balance if you try to take money from the ATM. What will happen is your bank will actually flag your account, and I believe I'm not sure who they sent it to, but you have to get a notarized letter proving that you were actually in Cuba during the time when you tried to access your account. So essentially, you can only bring cash to Cuba, and whatever cash that you have to make that last. If you run out of cash, you cannot Western Union yourself, you can't Zelle yourself, you can't Cash App yourself. You're pretty much shit out of luck, and you don't even try to go to the embassy because they won't help you. The internet. So with the internet, if you have an iPhone, you're gonna need a mobile hotspot. And also with the mobile hotspot, like you may not get that many gigs. So like if you're used to like 5G really fast internet, that's not going to happen. And there's some places that have like dead zones where you may not have internet at all. For Androids, if your Android is not locked, then yes, you will actually need the mobile hotspot. Or if it is unlocked, you'll have a SIM card. It'll actually be more beneficial for Android users, if you will. But the internet, like there are some dead zones. And if your Airbnb has Wi-Fi, like mine, Airbnb did have Wi-Fi, but the Airbnb does shut off, and it shuts off. Sometimes you think that it's shut off for like 20, 30 minutes, but it shuts off for like hours at a time. You know what I mean? And this is not me deterring you from going to Cuba at all. What I'm saying is that like you have to get some experience under your belt. Once you are a more seasoned traveler, if you will, then you can go to Cuba. Because I thoroughly enjoyed Cuba, but these are some potential watchouts. So you kind of got to get your feet wet. You know what I mean? That's like if you never played a sport before, like basketball, and people are expecting you to do a dunk. You know what I mean? In like 2 days, that ain't gonna work. So you got to get your feet wet.
Yeah.
So what I would say is, definitely travel to the Caribbean. Colombia. Colombia is one of them. I would recommend still. People hear some things about Colombia, but I would still
Yeah,
recommend.
I hear a lot. Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
almost like I think of cartel. I can imagine. Oh my God, I go to Colombia and I might get held up in the cartel.
This,
I
yeah,
watch these movies.
yeah. Too much narcos. There's none of that cartel shit.
Okay,
Yeah,
so watch
yeah,
these
that
movies.
Narcos. Yeah, listen. It's a great show. I love that show on Netflix. Leave Netflix where Netflix is. This is real life. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, it ain't none of that. But back to what dude said. Yeah, he's talking about Jay Rello. Yeah, I don't know if you heard the story. I actually did a
Yes, I
reaction
did.
to it. I actually did a reaction to it. So yeah, yeah, guys, just make sure that like you know bring more than enough money to travel. Um, you know, and
But
just
sorry, to interrupt you. I can only tell you that from my point of view, like when Americans come here, they act so ignorant in England. They act so ignorant, and that's one thing I ask Americans: please don't show yourself up. Please try to not ask dumb questions like that.
right,
Do you know the Queen? Do you know
right,
the
right.
Queen? Do you know how would I know the Queen? How would I know the Queen? Please, how? Can you tell me where Buckingham Palace is? Because I want to see the Queen. Like, are you okay?
Show up, look like Sukiyana out there, fucking.
It's
No,
like,
but no, but see, and this is no, but I'm glad that she mentioned that because that's why I said leave that American mentality in America.
America.
yes,
It's like
Hmm.
because the thing is like we like Americans come off very very entitled and what I mean like how are you gonna ask some random person like do you know the Queen you know what I mean but, that's like someone coming to New York and they're in front of Trump Tower and be like hey can you introduce me to Donald Trump you're like man I'm just walking past this I don't know this dude
Nah,
who the fuck what the fuck
they ask me
right,
anything about New York, just
right.
shut the
yeah
fuck up, man. You know what I mean?
right
It's
No,
like, oh yeah,
I,
been in Times
I
Square. So
never,
what?
I never understood that because I have heard that in on the panels where they say, "Have you ever met the Queen?" and blah blah, and do you know blah blah. But when they're in England and they're saying stuff like, "Oh, do you know where I can get some American food?" and I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't help you. Like, do I know where you can get some American food and you're in England?
yeah
You don't want to experience the British experience. You don't want to experience that. No?
Yeah, to see, yeah, and that's the thing. Like it comes off very disrespectful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It comes off ignorant that you don't want to learn. And so like the thing is, yeah, like when you travel, be eager to learn other people's cultures. Now here's the thing. For me, I am a picky eater, but one thing, no matter where I've been, where people can't get this wrong, is chicken.
and McDonald's.
Well, no, that's American food. But what I'm saying is,
No, wait, what I mean is it's in almost every country.
Yes,
oh, well, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
it's like if you really want your food, then go to McDonald's. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, no, but what I was saying is like, yeah, I'll get the, like I'll just order, like I'll order some chicken. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No matter what country I'm in, like I'll order something with chicken, and I'll be fine.
And sometimes it looks like chicken, but let's not say anything, Like,
Well, yeah, let's not, because we're encouraging people to travel, so
Yeah.
man, don't do that. Don't do
no,
that.
I won't. But yeah, so if you're American, please don't ask me where you can find American food. But if you really want to know, there's McDonald's and KFC. Have at it. You won't enjoy it. It's not as nice as Americans.
Yeah,
Nah, but I just like getting my chips. I love my chips over there.
Ooh-wee.
crisp.
Yeah.
You like we call it crisp, yeah.
It's
Well,
kinda
Yeah,
crisp.
crisp. Yeah. Yeah.
but no. So I'm really happy that you've joined live. And would you be happy to do a part 2, like Bronzebird said?
Of course.
Oh yeah, we definitely that's already solid, man.
Good.
No, this one question. This is the last question I got for you, and then we can
Okay.
end off. I just wanted to know the value of the dollar, just the value of the dollar in the different countries like Colombia and stuff like that. Is the exchange pretty much easier? Is it harder? This is an important question because we always talk about the American dollar. I mean, forget the fact the matter BRICS and all that other stuff is going on right now. Just the American dollar, the value, because they be like, oh, the money is stretched long if you go to these different
Yeah,
countries.
does it stretch longer?
So does it stretch longer in certain? Is it easier when it stretches in certain countries, even in Colombia?
Yeah. Absolutely. You know what I mean? What I would say is, like Colombia, the dollar stretches, right? So now it does fluctuate because the US currency, I mean, the dollar is still strong, but the strongest right now is the euro. The euro is
Is it not the pound? Is it not the pound that's stronger?
You know what? I hold on. Let me
Because the euro, I don't remember seeing the euro stronger than the pound. I'm like, huh? Are you sure? Because I know that the euro is good, but
yeah, but some places now some places don't take euros though.
yeah, they don't know.
I mean pounds I meant to say.
Okay. Some places don't take euros or pounds. That's from my experience. When I've traveled, they you need to convert it.
Yeah, but so like in Colombia the US dollar, but like for an example, like in Cuba the euros, the euros were great. If you went to Cuba, like you would have a much better time. You could go to the ATM. You could go to government hotels. Like they have like supermarkets that you could go into. Like Bronzebird and I, we couldn't go into them because we have a US passport. And it's the embargo between the United States and Cuba. That's why.
Okay, thank you so much for your input. I mean, I'm gonna have to do a rewatch of this because I wasn't listening to a good part of it. And me personally, I love men who travel. I don't like the typical ignorant American who says, "We only stay in America. F the rest of the world." Oh,
America,
yeah, America.
America.
I really appreciate black men who travel and black females who travel.
That's
I love it. Yeah. Thank you. Big up yourself.
Big up yourself. Boom, 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 boom.
That's what's up.
And thank you, Kings of Dreams. He's on YouTube. I don't.
Let me drop that link.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me drop that link.
Oh, I've already subscribed. Yeah.
Yeah. But Kings and Dreams. Any last words for everybody? I know they could check you out at Kings and Dreams. Do you have any other links that you want them to know, or any other places they can find you?
Yeah, man. Just check me out. Well, first of all,
Yeah, yeah.
I
Go ahead.
definitely want to thank you for having me on. Thank
Hmm.
you for allowing me to come on your platform. Definitely appreciate you. I see your channel is growing. You
Thanks,
definitely
brother.
you're definitely getting close to that 1,000.
Working.
Once you get monetized, though, you gonna have to be careful with the music and stuff.
Yeah,
Just
that's
a
the
heads
thing.
up.
Well, I could
Well,
monetize now, but I'm just like, let me. I just want to kind of just take it a little bit
wait,
further
you can
before I
monetize
decided.
now?
Yeah, you only need 500.
What?
Yeah, you only need 500. You only need 500
Oh, they changed
subscribers.
the
But
game.
yeah, I'm not. I'm
Oh
not. I'm just.
man.
I just want to get more subs before I do it. You know what I mean? Just
Oh
yeah, yeah.
snap.
They
So
changed
how
it.
wait, how many watch hours?
You still need 4,000. Mine is at 3,856. So I'm very close.
Man, I'm about to get you. Man, listen. People rewatch this, man, and you'll get your watch hours, man.
You already,
But
man.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, so but anyway, yeah, so yeah, but thank you for allowing me on your platform. I definitely appreciate it. Hopefully, as being your favorite content creator, I
Yeah.
did well.
You did well, man.
You did very
uh,
well. You did
I,
very well.
you
It's
don't
good to
even
get
know
other.
you weren't listening.
No, I wasn't. I was listening to some of it, but what I mean is like some of the points you're making, I need to go back and listen. I was not because I was in troll mode and now I'm in serious mode. So I'm
Nah,
going to go
boy,
back
yes,
and
it's
listen.
cool.
Thank you so much for joining us, Kings and Dreams.
Hmm.
Well, yeah, Kings and Dreams on YouTube and Instagram.
Kings and Dreams.
Yeah,
Kings
King
Maybe.
and
and
Dreams
like the letter N. Yeah, Kings
and
Yeah,
N.
Kings and
and
Dreams.
Dreams.
Yeah,
Okay,
no
we'll pick up
worries.
this our chat room and
Yeah.
hopefully I'll see you all soon. Mwah. Bye
Uh-huh.
for now.
All
And
right.
yeah. Thank you, Kings and Dreams. Any last words? Oh, my fault.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, as I mentioned, man, I appreciate you allowing me on the platform. One of the things, as I mentioned, there's different tiers to, passport bros of people who travel. I just think that it's important for all of us to travel, learn, explore, especially us, especially us who are melanated, man, because there's so many of us around the world that we don't even know. You know what I mean? And we, we really don't know our history the way we think we know our history. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And so like we could Google and do research, but if you actually don't have, physical boots on the ground and actually learn these things and see for yourself, like really check it out, man. And it feels so great to be embraced by someone who looks like you and who's genuinely happy to see you. Like I'm from New York City, man, and it's like you can't even smile at somebody, you know what I mean? Because if you smile at somebody, they're gonna think that you playing for the alphabet team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're like, who the fuck is you, bro? Like, you know what I
Right,
mean?
right,
And
right,
now
right,
when you get the newcomers, you get the gentrifiers, and they say hello to you. You're like, what the fuck? I'm supposed to say hello to you? What the fuck you
right,
smiling at me on a train for, man?
right. And right, and it's like yeah, man. And the thing is, people, people are just, people are just, genuinely happy, man. It's just a different vibe. It's a different aura, man. You get that, you get that sense of peace. You get that sense of belonging, and you get that sense of education, man. And then, guys, guys, even on the dating side, yes, women are definitely more approachable. You have, women, like outside of the West, like these, these women, like they don't have like they don't have as much as of an ego, so to speak. You know what I mean? And but they also do expect you to be the leader, so you got to be that masculine man. So like if you got feminine energy, that's not gonna work over there because they're gonna walk all over you. They're not gonna want to deal with you. So you got to be a masculine man. You know what I mean? And you got to make sure that you are a leader and know that yes, she's on your program. But the thing is like because some guys think like, hey, you know what? Yeah, I'm the leader. I'm the leader. I'm the alpha. But it's like, yo, if you don't have a plan and you don't have a sense of structure, you know what I mean? Your
She don't rock with
foundation
you.
crumbles.
Yeah,
So
she don't
there's
rock with
all
you,
that,
fam.
man. You know what I mean? So peace out to the chat. Thank you for everyone who watched and show love. Thank you for everyone who hated and who hated and show hated. It's
Hmm.
all good, man. Because hello, sugar is sweet, and it's all good, man. Stay purposely purposeful, and I'm out. Salute.
Peace. And like I said, thank you to everyone that came in the chat tonight. Everybody who participated. Yeah, everybody who participated in the chat. Everybody who liked. Everybody who bird watch and all that other stuff. We will be back. Kings and Dreams and I will be back with a part 2 sometime in the future. We don't know, but we will be back, y'all. And make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Now, y'all know what I love to do before I get on out of here. I love to play the music. So sit back, relax, y'all. We gonna get it in the groove. And yeah, put my screen on. You know what I'm saying? One time for the one time, y'all. All right. And peace.